Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are back once again. I'm Lee Demon Smith and joining you for this fantastic Asphalt 9 tournament. Once again, it is going to be. I'm getting myself back. That's my own fault. That's my own fault. I had you guys at YouTube open. That's what it was. It is going to be the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 off to a flying start, but we are looking for some fantastic racing today. We're going to be covering all three platforms today: iOS, Android, and Windows PC, which would be the first time for me. I've covered these guys a bunch of times. So let's get on to exactly how they got here. What was the format? What did you guys have to do? I know there's a lot of you in chat waiting for those code drops. I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. that's down to Game Loft. But let's talk about this. Obviously, you guys had to qualify. There was qualifying events. If you missed it, I'm sorry, you're not here now, but you would be up against some of the best players in the world. There was two qualifying events throughout August. I believe it was the 1st to the 7th of July, and then later on in the end of the month. During our time at Gamescom, actually, the 21st to 28th of August. So that's where the qualification came from. The best two from each of those qualification events went through to this right now. So we have our top four players that are going to be taking part. The finals will be best of three throughout until the actual final, grand final, I guess you could say, which would be a best of seven. That would be weighted on the winner bracket. We're going to have a double elimination throughout the day as well. So lots of tracks, lots of races. It's all going to be fantastic fun. And considering the quality of the drivers involved, I think it's only fair we have a double elim. I've had the pleasure of covering, well, probably these for Asphalt actually probably going back to about Asphalt 3, I think. So some of these names I have seen many times before. Some of them are new, which is fantastic to see. I guess we should look at the players, what we got first. We're going to be starting out over on the iOS. And as you can see, a returning, I think it's safe to say, legend in RPM. Alex, he has been, I think, in almost every tournament I've ever broadcast, and that's a lot. Amo returning as well, finalist actually last time I covered him. Bumblebee coming in as well, a Korean driver, so it's great to see some new blood in there, obviously known to some of the drivers as well, and Future Flash as well. Also coming through, who I believe is Alex's teammate, actually. So I assume he's in RPM. So yeah, some absolute legends, as I say in here. Like I've covered probably RPM Alex in, I don't know, it's got to be at least 5 years of Asphalt that I've seen him like in the finals, there or thereabout, every single time, absolutely delivering multiple times. And I spoke to some of the drivers before this, and I was sort of asking him how it was going to go. And for Amo, who's up against Alex, he was basically saying, they have looked up at Alex as like the guy, he's the man that they have looked up, respected for ages. So he's up against him in the first race, as you can see in the upper bracket. It's going to be a tough affair. Bumblebee up against the Future Flash as well. So today we're going to be talking about a worldwide tournament as well. Obviously, we've got drivers coming from all around the world. This isn't just a European-based. We have people from the Americas, obviously based in Europe, and people from Asia as well. Bumblebee being one of those drivers. So it's a truly worldwide event today. So very interested to see how this first one is going to go. As we mentioned there, the first race we're going to see is going to be Amo versus Alex. That is going to be on Nevada Desert Run. So it's going to be a best of three. A Nevada Desert Run. Of course, everybody is driving in the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4. It's great to see. I don't know about you guys. I'm old, right? I've been around for a while. And for me, the car that you had on your bedroom wall was a Lamborghini Countach. Now, it depended how old you were. Maybe it would have been a Diablo or, going through. But at the end of the day, it was always a Lamborghini, right? You always had a Lamborghini on your wall. So for me, it's fantastic to see, obviously, the Countach coming back out once again. And they're going to be racing it today. So let's get straight into the game. Let's get the first race underway. It is all live. We've done live. Alex versus Amo. Here we go. And now I spoke to Amo before this one, said the car, it is classed as an A-class car, but it can be tricky to drive, which sometimes why you see people taking maybe more risk or less risk, I should say, than they would expect. It will be a tricky one. We'll see how it works out for them. But yeah, at the moment, underway, and you can see Alex. Oh, we've lost sound. Oh, there we go. We've got it back now. Alex is in the lead, so Amo's got a bit of work to do here. Amo, last time out, I saw Amo. He was in the finals up against Nilo. Nilo not here today, though, so didn't manage to make it through the qualifiers. But Alex currently leading the charge, so a great start for him. Very unlucky. Last time out, I covered him against Nilo, actually, in the knockout stages. So Alex looking to try and maybe go that step further. We've said it. I've said it. Lethal said it, who's joined me on the cast many times for Asphalt 9. And we both said, you know, he's always been the bridesmaid. He's never quite won the title. He's always been in the finals, but I don't recall ever covering him winning a title. I would love to see that. I would love to see him go through and win a title, but at the moment, starting the second lap, it is Alex in the lead. And some of these drivers, they did talk about the tracks earlier on and saying, you know, it can be down to which track you start on. Sometimes it favors, obviously, maybe the left driver or the right driver, depending on, obviously, the first corner, which of course can be a case. But at the moment, pretty steady stuff coming out. Amo doing what he can to try and catch up, trying to build up that boost, hits the shockwave, tries to do what he can. Last throw of the dice almost here because Alex is seemingly faultless ahead of him. Oh, he's just got the truck. That's going to catch him, slow him down, and that may well give it to Alex for the first race here, but it is a best of 3. Don't worry about it. It's not all over. I know there's a lot of Amo fans in the chat as well. It's looking like Alex may well take this first one as they approach the finish line, unless Alex makes a howling error, which I very much doubt he will do. It should be in the bag. That's a tight corner, though, and Alex has wrecked. Oh, my God, has that just happened? As I was about to say, they're coming up to the finish line, unless he makes a mistake, and Alex wrecking on the corner. What a disastrous finish. Oh, my word, how has that happened? I'm just gobsmacked. Wow. 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 What just happened? That was in the bag. And this is what they were talking about. This is what Amo talked about. It's what Alex talked about. Sometimes this car can be a little tricky on the corners and just boosted a little bit too quick. And he wrecked on the corner. It was what? The second, third to last corner. Oh, my word. That was in the bag. And Amo will take it. So, I think it's we're talking about gift horses. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth and all that lot. Oh, my word. Wow. Just good grief. Yeah, so Amo said basically he was sent into the truck at the start is what happened. Yeah, but yeah, that's where the problems happened. But oh no. And Alex Alex just said it's like again the worst possible situation. And he gets it. And I think what he was doing, I couldn't quite tell. I'd have to look at a replay, but I think he was dodging a car. I think he was dodging something, which is why he dodged to the right, jinxed to the right. And oh, my word. Okay, well, entertaining first race. Let's get the second race underway, ladies and gentlemen. As Amo will start up now with a lead. Alex neck and neck with him as they try and jostle for position. Alex will take it. They were neck and neck the side there. And I think that means that I'd love to see where Amo is. It did knock him quite far back, actually. So Alex just in position. He was fighting to stay in the upper bracket, if anything. As it is Amo once again. It is chasing. But we've been in this situation already. And I can't believe we've had drama in the first race already. Absolutely crazy. I thought that one was in the bag. I was pretty much nailed on. But Alex got to make sure he secures the victory here. And we saw just how dangerous it can be. You can't just coast. You know you've got an incredibly fast player up behind you that's going to be hitting those boosts and shockwaves and charging up as much as you can. It's just got to be very careful. There's the truck. And this is the corner. This is the corner that caught him out there. Last time out. Was it this one? It wasn't. It was definitely that one back there. Caught him off guard as we do start the second lap. So Alex holding the lead. Amo has definitely gained ground from the last time we saw him. That I almost certainly had to hit the shockwave to make sure he didn't hit the wall there. He was drifting off to the left there, a little harder than I think he planned. And Amo hits the spin, looking decent so far. Got a bit of work to do still though. He's definitely gaining ground on Alex. So there's the shockwave. The boost comes in, trying to get the catch up as best he can. But Alex is looking, well, I'm hesitant to say he's looking more safer this time around. It looks like he's managed to clear that corner. Just got a couple of jumps to do, and it should be, I'm touching wood or something here, in the bad for Alex in race number 2. But it does mean, of course, we will have a third race. Alex hitting the corner. Here we go. This is the corner. He makes sure he keeps it very safe, very tight this time around, taking no risks, no problems for Alex this time. And it will be Alex that takes race number 2. So a little more calmer affair, I think, this time around for Alex, making sure he secured it there. I almost think he felt, I mean, he slowed it down. The simpler case, he slowed it down on that corner. Didn't want to boost it round. But yeah, that was tight. Future Flash saying Alex is focused now. It's all good. It's all good. His teammate trying to make sure he keeps going, gets himself in there. And yeah, these guys, it's great that I can see the chat. I'm in the Discord. I can see these guys keeping the chat going. So it's great to be up with the right drivers. That hasn't been the case in the past where I've not been able to get the feedback. So I did manage to speak to these drivers earlier on, like I say. And like I say, Amo was talking about the fact that, you know, he has the utmost respect for Alex, how he's come up against him. He's described the car as you say, a strong class of car. But with good handling, but it can also be tricky. That's what he was saying. It's like despite the car's stats, it can be tricky. So you know, sometimes you've got to be a little careful with it, which I guess we saw with Alex, right? Certainly on some tracks, he was saying you may notice one player taking sections at a greater speed than others, because the car with great performance also can be affected by the terrain. Which is obviously, it can be, if it's not planted right, if you're not planted, especially on the jumps, it can be tricky to predict sometimes. So, which is why some of those saying is just like, you've got to be careful. You just got to be careful. For Alex, by the way, this is his 10th finals. 10th. Jesus Christ, he's been around for a very long time, hasn't he? He is indeed very consistent. I don't remember finals where I've not covered RPM Alex. I don't think. He's never played against Amo. This is his first time coming up against Amo in a finals. So he's pretty excited to see how the races are going to go. He's hoping that they don't have any problems, which I mean, he did in his first race. So I'm hoping. Let's see if it's a clean one. We'll get the third race underway in just a second. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the deciding race in the upper bracket finals. So there is a double elimination, so it's not over for either of these drivers. It will just knock them down to lower bracket. Alex up against Amo as we get underway once again. Alex does have the lead this time around. The car was on the right there, and this time Alex is going to try and benefit from that lead. Has to be a little bit cautious. And for me, there we go. I was just waiting for him to get going, but for me, Alex has definitely got the lead. So remember, this is coming out from live as well. So which is why you may see a few issues, but Amo has a lot of work to do here to try and gain ground. He's going to have to take this corner. You can see he's starting to roll the dice effectively. You can see that's why he's putting the spins in, trying to build that boost bar, get it fully tapped out, get the shockwave on, do what he can. But Alex is long gone at the moment, but we've been here before, haven't we? So this is yeah, that's why he had to take a tight line there. You saw the truck just in the distance there. Almost caught it. Alex having to make quick adjustments, but that's how quick these guys can do it. The fact that, as we were talking about, the fact that these guys are here consistently shows how good they are at this game. You know, to consistently be in final after final after final. Didn't risk it for the drift there. Does have the shockwave, but that may be something that Amo could benefit on, actually. Alex playing it very cautiously in this final lap. Making sure that he doesn't lose out, gets the boost across, gets himself the second jump as well. So managing to work well at the moment on the jumps. Let's have a look at Amo, see how he's doing in the chase, because Alex is smooth sailing right now. He's got to be very cautious. Trying to cover the terrain. Here he goes. Wide angle. Look at that. You see the angle he took, the line he almost took to make sure he got around that corner. All set up from way before. And now this is the corner that cost him dearly in race number 1, just coming up. So goes over here. Right, here we go. This is the corner that cost him. Let's just see, make sure he doesn't get caught out. Oh, Amo caught the barrier there. Amo is a long way back now. Yeah, Amo's definitely, I think he's just been throwing caution to the wind for Amo. I think he's just been trying to risk it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't pay off. But it's going to be Alex that will go across the line as the winner in the first upper bracket finals against the Mo. So Alex through to the winner bracket finals. Not the grand finals, the winner bracket finals. Still a long way to go here on the iOS. We're on the iOS. We do have Android and PC also coming up. But GG to Alex. Yeah, and Amo just said exactly what we said, what we saw in the broadcast. It kind of sucks. He just simply could not avoid that truck. And sometimes that's the way it is. And that can be the way, you know, the race start. Sometimes you have a truck in the way. Sometimes you've got to try and battle out. But yeah, so onwards we go in the brackets to the next race, which will be the next two, which will be Future Flash versus Bumblebee. So the Korean driver up against Future Flash. Future Flash driving for RPM now as well. Was actually teamed up with Alex in the team tournament that was last out as well. For Future Flash, made his, I guess his big splash, I guess you could say, was when he won at the 2019 Milan tournament for Asphalt 9. That was the big one where Future Flash came through in the finals up against Alex again. But as I say, they played together recently in the team edition of the races with Alex. So that was the first time they met back in 2018. So it's going to be good to see how this one goes. You may know Bumblebee as Xenon as well. It's different names, different games, different places, but obviously you can change your game name a fair bit. But here we go, getting underway, and this is on Caribbean Island Beach Landing as well, the Beach Landing map, which actually I seem to recall this was the last time out I saw this was actually Alex versus Nilo, I'm almost certain, which Nilo was absolutely impeccable on, if I remember rightly. Bumblebee, though, trailing on Future Flash at the start. Got a bit of work to do here, hits a corkscrew of a spin there, gets the full shockwave, choosing a different route, actually going for the shorter line, will be a tighter corner, and it's actually paid off for Bumblebee. He gets slightly ahead of Future Flash. We have a race on, ladies and gentlemen. This one's a tight one. That was a big gamble for Bumblebee to take down. It's absolutely paid off for him here, but there's a lot of corners to mess you up on this track. If I remember rightly, it can be very tricky. You can see Future Flash already go for the spin on the jump there, trying to make sure so he gets the boost up. He's going to be side by side, and Future Flash will dodge in the lead. Looks like they're both going to go left and right. We'll see whether Bumblebee's chose to do the same route. Future Flash trying to take as much of a tight line as he can, knowing that he has a race on his hand. But Bumblebee did go for a different route, actually. Tried a different line, and he finds himself a long way back now on Future Flash. That may have just paid off for him, and Bumblebee's got some work to do here. So over the boost, Future Flash looking good after a very tight first lap so far. This time, choosing to take the tighter line that Bumblebee did, so he's making sure he doesn't lose out. So yeah, he's taking the same line. Did go slightly wider there on the rock. Bumblebee last time out took it to the right-hand side. Sticking to the left this time around. And I think Future Flash may well have this first race first race. It is going to be still plenty to go, but you know, I'm never going to get ahead of myself in this because so many times there's so many rocks, so many splits, so many corners, so many areas. Not so much the traffic on this racetrack. It's more the corners that can catch you off guard. But Future Flash looking like he's a long way ahead now. Bumblebee seemingly a long way back. Certainly last time we saw him, Future Flash over the line and gets himself the race secured. There's Bumblebee. The gamble not quite paying off, but Future Flash, well, he had him briefly there, didn't he? So definitely have a tight one on our hands here. Future Flash managing to get it done under pressure early on. Great first lap from both drivers, but it was sort of in that end section where Future Flash managed to get going in there. Almost an unfortunate situation there, but managed to pay off. Future Flash, though. So race number 1, best of 3 all the way through, as I say, until the finals, which we go into a best of 7. Sorry, I'm just fending off a cat. You know, I have cats in the house. There's a possibility we'll have a cat in the broadcast at some point. This is what I'm trying to get on my lap right now. But what we want to talk about is the racing action. As I say, it's not happening, Kurt. You're not jumping up here, mate. Caribbean Island Beach Landing. What I want to talk about, last time out I covered this one was, as I say, Nilo versus Alex. And that was an entertaining affair, if I remember rightly. That one went down to the wire, so I'm not going to write Bumblebee off yet. The Korean are obviously up against Future Flash here. So here we go. Second race underway. Future Flash holding that one-track lead, or race lead, I should say. This time Future Flash with the cleaner start. We'll see how this works out. Bumblebee chasing once again. Will he take that tighter road? This time, no. He goes to the left-hand side. Right-hand side, coming up with the rock. See which way they're going to go. Gets the spiral. Will get the jump again. Is going to take the tighter cave run. Both of them do actually this time. So Future Flash actually covering off Bumblebee this time and taking the same route that Bumblebee did in the first race. So good bit of perseverance there, or quick learning from Future Flash is simply to follow the same line that your rival does. And so now it's on Bumblebee to try and make a change, try and make a difference. You can see he's going for the spins, the riskier plays. Future Flash doesn't need to take. Future Flash is going to stick to the same route that he did in race number 1. Bumblebee looking to do the same. So going to have to try and simply race better is the best way I can put it. Otherwise, he's going to be up against, obviously, we already know the next bracket. So the winner bracket currently, Alex waiting for him. Will it be Future Flash going through? Looking like it. Different route from Bumblebee, trying and gain some ground. It looked like it kind of paid off there, but that slide just there as he hit the shockwave didn't work out so well for him. Just catching slightly on the ramp, hits the shockwave. Is he going to gain ground? Doesn't look like it at the moment. Takes the tight corner. He's trying to hit everything he can right now. That bounce is unfortunate. That's definitely cost him some time. Future Flash very much just a nameplate in the distance, isn't he? He is absolutely riding high right now. Seems to have hit his groove. Oh, taking some risks as well towards there. Maybe unnecessary risks. He should be able to see that his opponent is a long way back now. As he cuts his way through the jungle section. Is it? I mean, can I say jungle? I mean, it's a Caribbean island. It's not really a jungle in a Caribbean island that I can think of. I've been to a few Caribbean islands. I don't remember seeing jungle there. But either way, Future Flash over the line, taking this one in a quick 2-0. And he will go through to the upper bracket finals. That will be up against Alex. And for Bumblebee, he's going to drop down to the lower bracket up against Mo. So tough for him. Tough race, but in the end, Future Flash, under pressure in the first race. Second race was very much, I would say, under control. He covered off Bumblebee's same route that gave Bumblebee the jump on him effectively. I think it gave Future Flash a little bit of a panic moment in that first race, which is where he managed to close it out. But yeah, some solid driving from Future Flash this time around. So let's have a quick look towards the next race. Let's look at the brackets. As we now have confirmation, as I say, it is the RPM face-off. Alex versus Future Flash. Teammates last time out. Last time we saw them in the tournament. This time out, head-to-head. and Mo, of course, in the lower bracket, which is, I believe, where we start. I might be wrong. I'm just going to double check. I'll wait for the admin to see who's going to be there. But either way, it is the upper bracket first. Okay, so we're going to Alex versus Future Flash first. So we're going to be into the RPM battle in the very first matchup. I do see you guys in chat, so keep dropping by and saying hello. I can see everyone in chat. It will be tricky to react to you as much as I can, as much as I can. But we'll see. So this means that, well, I mean, at least RPM get someone in the final, right? That's what they're putting it. Obviously, they're going to put it in there. Hi, Asphalt. I see the Asphalt are in chat as well. So it's great to see so many of you in here watching this, joining in the esports entertainment for the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 challenge. I think whoever comes up with the tournament names, and I get it, it's the name tag for the car. They make it hard for me. Could have been the Lamborghini Countach Challenge. Just saying. Just saying. But it is the exact car. Go check it out. It is a fantastic beast of a motor. One day, maybe I'll get my hands on it. I love the history as well going through, as I mentioned. This is one of the cars that everybody of my age range had on their wall. Obviously, this is the new modern version. Something you guys can look forward to. But here we are. We're underway for the upper bracket finals. It is Alex up against Future Flash, and it is, of course, Rome, capital of the world, which is, I think this is one of the favorite tracks for a lot of the drivers out there. Certainly, most of them were talking about it and saying, yeah, it's one of my favorites, it is a track that can catch you off guard. There is obviously a lot of jumps involved, a lot of bridges, a lot of upper and lower sections, so you have to be cautious. But at the moment, the Future Flash is in the lead. But this is a track I've seen change hands multiple times. This is definitely been a tough one. This was in the finals last time out that we covered this. I believe it was Nilo versus Mo. And it's a tough old track. So Alex taking a different route, took the middle route there. So Future Flash on the right hand side. Let's see whether that gained him any ground. It absolutely did. Look at that. Alex is right on his heels now. That has completely caught him up as we start lap 2. We have a race on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. They're both hitting the boost, going down in the tunnel. Looking solid at the moment. Future Flash, does he feel the pressure? He will be able to see it on the mini-map on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see that dot floating ever closer to him. Just side swipes and dodges on the car there. Very close. Goes for the big boost. Didn't quite hit the shockwave, which is why he didn't get the boost on there. That's what he was waiting for. Just slightly short of it. Holds it cut tight. Does go right. Alex goes right. Keeping my eye on the route as we're going to go for the triple split in just a few moments. This is where Alex gains so much ground over Future Flash. As we come up to towards the end of the second lap. Here we go. This is going to be the split. Which way is he going to go? Future Flash goes right. Alex goes straight. And it worked out best for Alex last time around. He's going to hit the boost. No, this time Future Flash absolutely nails it. And he should be able to take it now as they come across the line. And it will be Future Flash that will take the first race in this best of 3 winner bracket finals against his teammate Alex. A tight race. Definitely doable though. Alex gaining ground quite a lot there. But Future Flash coming out on top. And Alex actually saying, yeah, I wonder how it didn't wreck when he landed on him. That was when, at the start, you know, they go down into the tunnel. I did notice that Alex came down almost on top of, and I expected Alex to actually be wrecked, but yeah, I don't know, because yeah, Future Flash came down on top of him, and it just sort of rubbed across the car. I guess it's the power of the Lamborghini Countach, right? Just the gliding over the front of the bonnet. Don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at home. We're going to get the second race underway in just a few moments. But yeah, that's obviously what puts him ahead there. So, I mean, lucky for him. Some love for Elite Joe. Yeah, he's going to be coming up in the Android races later on. It's going to be very early in the morning for Elite Joe. I think like 6 a.m. or something like that for him. But for now, we are over on the iOS. Here we go. Winner bracket finals. Alex on the right-hand side in the red up against Future Flash. Will Alex be able to hold the lead this time around? He does. He gets the little tight lead as they both go bustling on the first lap. But we've seen how tight it can be between these two drivers. Alex needs to get himself back into this one. The two teammates, the legend that is RPM Alex, currently holding the lead. Did catch the car there. That may well just buffer him a little bit of time for Future Flash to try and gain ground, and it absolutely has. You can see he's just gained a little bit on the tailpipe. The exhaust, I wouldn't say twin exhaust, but it's quad exhaust, isn't it, on the back of the Countach. Tightly packed in there. I think, I would hope in real life you don't see flames coming out the back of the car. I mean, maybe it may happen if you hit the turbo at the wrong point, but in Asphalt 9, that is a great line! And Alex with a big mistake there. Okay, he's going to dive out to the right. Let's see who's going to come out on top as one goes right, one goes through the middle. They're going to come through, and it will be Future Flash that will hold the lead. And a mistake from Alex may well cost him his place in the grand finals here, as Future Flash holds the lead going into lap number 2. And now the pressure very much on. Future Flash already with the 1-0 lead coming in. As this is a different line coming out from Alex. He chooses to take the left-hand side. It was a tight turn, but it hasn't quite paid off. He's gained a little bit of time, I would say, but Future Flash has still got some heavy distance on him. So for Alex, he's going to have to try and build up as much nitro boost as he can, get for that heavy shockwave launch if he can, but it doesn't look like Future Flash is giving in. He's not going to give an inch here. It could be down to this final tri-split. Will he try something different? Will he get caught out? Will any traffic perhaps get in the way for Future Flash? Hit the shockwave there on the boost. That's exactly what he needed. And he is fully topped off, isn't he, with the boost. Alex doing what he can, hits the shockwave once again, gains a little bit of ground, and look at this! Flash covers him off. He goes the exact same route that Alex takes, and that's about the only way you're going to win as well. Oh, he hit the car at the end there, Future Flash. Has he got enough boost to try and catch him? Alex is going to catch him a little bit. No! But Future has just enough in the bag to hold out over the lead. 0.3 of a second is all that separates the two drivers, and it will be Alex in the end there. Risky maneuver for Future Flash there, taking a different line that he's taken all the way through and getting caught out, hitting that car, catching the traffic. I thought that may well be enough to slow him down, but it's not. Alex goes down to the lower bracket, and for Future Flash, he's into the grand finals as the lead car, which what that means is when they go into a best of 7, he will have a 1-0 advantage coming through from the winner bracket. It's a big advantage going into there. So Future Flash into the grand finals, and it means Alex will drop down now as we move down to the lower brackets. Now, let's not forget about the other drivers that are still in here. That is going to be a Mo up against Bumblebee. That's going to be the lower bracket. The winner of that race will then go up against Alex. So let's have a quick look at the brackets just to confirm that. As Mo and Bumblebee sit there waiting. And now Alex, I mean, he had a good start, didn't he, in that final race? You got a feel for him a little after losing out. Just that smallest of margins is what caught him. And now we move on and wait for this lower bracket final. The drivers are just getting themselves set up. Mo versus Bumblebee, the Korean, up against Mo, who is Indian, I believe. I believe he is. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting underway. What track are we going to be on? Let me just get that one for you as we move in. Well, you can see on your screens. It is going to be US Midwest. It is Whirlwind Cave, hence the gigantic tornadoes directly ahead. Whirlwind Curve, I should say, not cave. As it is bank curves all the way. Mo with a great start, getting things going already. We already saw that Bumblebee has it in his locker to be able to gain ground and catch up. And Mo's got to be very careful, obviously, throughout the caves. A lot of areas that you can get caught out in this race. Oh, Bumblebee has to dive and turn that one in a little bit. That was getting a little hairy for the moment. He's also gone really wide there, and that's given him a bit of ground, hasn't it? He's definitely got himself a decent lead built up here. Bumblebee got a bit of work to do now as they drop down on the curve. Mo hitting the shockwave, fully boosted. That's what he needs. Got to be careful. Doesn't catch any traffic there. Looking clean at the moment. He skips on through, gets himself onto the boost. On the jump, goes for the right-hand side. So does Bumblebee. Then the left, make sure none of that traffic. Oh, he cut it so close, don't you? Bumblebee definitely gained some ground there. Cutting it so fine to the cliff edge. Now he manages to skip on the top of the fence. Nice little bounce there. Is that going to slow him down too much on landing? It looks like it did. That was a hard landing. I think he skipped it. I think he didn't want to clip the second bounce on the fence post there. Yeah, may well cost him here. You can see he's fell back quite a fair bit. Mo looking decent ahead. Oh, Bumblebee. He's trying everything. He's trying absolutely everything he can do here to try and get himself in there. But unfortunately for Bumblebee, looks like this one may well be a little too far. Unless Mo makes a large error. We'll see whether it works out for him. He did count himself, Bumblebee, coming into this one as the least skilled player among the players who passed the preliminary rounds. And it was a bit harsh. I mean, he's here in what is effectively the best 4 players in the world on iOS. So to call yourself least skilled, that was an error. That was an error from Mo at the end there, but he managed just to get away with it. And just as Bumblebee comes over the line. Just a small fraction. But Mo honestly dominated it towards the end there. And Bumblebee, I mean, in fairness with Bumblebee, he was kind of trying everything, wasn't he? Trying to risk it. In the end, I think it was towards the start of the second lap when he was trying to skip on the fences. You get the bounce, the one. The second bounce, it just launched him too much. It put him off. Came over to the right-hand side, hit that rock, hit the floor hard. It wasn't the smoothest of landings, and I think that slowed him just a bit there. But Mo looking good for the first race. Second race will be underway in just a few moments. Here in the US Midwest. Tricky track. It's a tricky track. It's obviously quite tight corners in there, but at the moment, the winner of this race will move through to face off against RPM Alex. Now, for Mo, that would be a rematch. It would be a rematch of the first race, which they had, 10, 15 minutes away now. That was on Nevada Desert Run, but now, once again, back on the US Midwest Whirlwind Cove. We are underway. Mo, this time on the right-hand side. So Bumblebee will get himself a decent start, which will put him in the lead a little bit here, hitting the shockwave early. Mo as Bumblebee as he rides the barrier. This time a cleaner landing. As Bumblebee obviously hit that rock last time around. Mo looks a little off at the moment, but should be fine. He's got to see whether he can get the chase on now as Bumblebee gets going. Just hitting those fence posts a little bit there in the cave. Got to be careful of a cave in. Ooh, that's a full risk, but wow! How well was that taken by Mo there? I was worried for him for a second, but he hit that fence absolutely perfectly aligned. Just absolutely balancing the physics of the game as well as he can. Look how much ground that has gained on Bumblebee. And now he may well be able to pass him in the air, and he absolutely has! And Mo takes the lead. It's going to be on the outside of the corner, though. Going to try and cut in. A little barge in. They both try and fight for it. Are they going to land on top of each other? No. And Mo will take the lead. What a wonderful, wonderful bit of movement that was. It's not over yet, though. Look how tight Bumblebee takes that corner as they go into the second lap. And we have a full race back to back as they try and get the boost. Shockwave comes out for Mo as he manages to get himself launched. Hits the barrier and he launches into the corner. Bumblebee trying all he can to stay in the tournament. This is fighting for his tournament life right now. Loser will go out, winner will go through to face against Alex, but what a fantastic race this has been. Bumblebee testing a Mo who has been throughout the tournaments, across many years as a fantastic competitor, but Bumblebee from Korea doing what he can to fully test him. And Mo just about having to pull out everything he had in the locker there. It looks like he may well have done enough. Bumblebee with a bit of work to do here. It's going to go tight. Try and swing it wide, see what he can. We know he cuts this rock really tight in just a moment. We'll see whether the jump is going to be enough, because it's going to have to be everything he's got now for the young Korean. Try and get himself in there. Doesn't quite work out for him here. Mo is racing absolutely a perfect line right now. Cuts it as tight as he dares, but it's not enough. And Mo will take the finish and take himself the lower bracket 2-0. Oh my word, what a race though, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we are here for in the Lamborghini Countach LPI 804 Challenge Finals. That was absolutely magnificent stuff from Amo, who, you know, fair play to him, was behind, but absolutely nailed it when he needed to. I got to be honest, there was a point I thought we were going to see someone wreck. They were neck and neck, side by side racing, clean racing. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Whew. All right, let's take a moment. Let's look at the brackets. Let's take stock of the situation, because that was fantastic. But unfortunately for Bumblebee, it means he is now out of the tournament. It will be Amo going through for the rematch of the upper bracket. Previously, they faced on the Nevada Desert Run. Now they're going on to San Francisco, the city by the bay. It's a tricky track, but Alex has that rematch up against Amo. Can Alex come out on top once again? It was 2-1 last time out. Amo took himself the first race, if you remember. Alex came back to get himself the victory. Ooh, blimey. I tell you what, Asphalt always delivers. It always delivers with cracking racing action. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So, who's going to face off in the final? Future Flash awaits in the best of 7 final, and it's down to these two drivers to see who will be there. Will it be RPM Alex, Future Flash's teammate once again, as we saw in the upper bracket, or will Amo do it again? Now, it was Amo that managed to reach the final last time out, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. San Francisco by the bay. It can be a tricky track as you go down that hill. You can bounce off the building. Sometimes you can click the wrong thing, hit the objects. It's very hard sometimes, this track, but RPM Alex finds himself in the chase. This is what I was talking about. You go down here, it can be very risky. They do manage to catch the spin. Everybody clean and safe. That was Alex going for a 720, which gave him a bit more boost, actually, I think, than Amo had. And also, you can see some of the jumps. There's the jump coming up in just a moment. I've seen drivers wreck on this so many times. Ooh, Alex going really wide there. Swings it back in. Oh, that's what I was talking about. That's exactly what I was talking about. I have seen so many hit the Golden Gate there and wreck, and that's exactly what's happened to Alex, and that is almost certainly going to be it, unless Amo makes a big error. He can look at the minimap. He can see it himself. He knows that Alex is not there. So now the pressure is off. Now, the question is he one of those drivers that drives better under pressure, or when he's got himself a clean lead? At the moment, he's basically into time trial mode. You know, you've got to just sort of relax your mind a little bit, but you've got to be careful, because if you relax a little too much, you can make unforced errors, and that's really what Alex has to bank on now. That big error. We've had this track multiple times across multiple finals. It is a track that always delivers when it comes to unforced errors. Now, Amo, here we go. Risky? No. Straight over the top. Full boost. Shockwave, no problem. Doesn't look like he's going to have too many issues. There is one more jump just ahead that you can get caught out on. He chooses to go low. Hits himself the scoop. Beautifully done. No problems here. Amo should be safe for the first race here. Yeah, it's a tricky track. There's no doubt about it. But let's not write Alex off. Alex lost out on the first race in Nevada Desert Run as well, and came back with the victory on that one. And for Alex, you can see it's going to be a tricky one. But yeah, I mean, if you wreck in the finals, it's going to cost you, right? It's the lower bracket final. This is where you have to be absolutely at your maximum. Yes. So, okay, let's just take stock. Okay, so for Amo, he just needs one win, one more victory, and he's into the grand finals. And I know there's a lot of fans in chat that are cheering him on. We'll see whether he manages to make it through. For Alex, he needs two. He needs 2 races on what is a tricky track. You know, there is a lot of areas on this track that are there to catch you out. As simple as that. And, you know, you guys in chat, you've all driven on it. You've all raced on it. You know how tricky it can be. I'm sure you've all wrecked on this track multiple times in multiple sections, be it the downhill section through the streets of San Francisco, be it into the Golden Gate Bridge, be it just jumping wide and going into the bay. It's happened so many times. But for Mo, he needs to just hold steady, and he will be into the grand finals. For Alex, he needs to go for it. It's all on the start. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Alex, is he going to get the lead? He is going to be on the left-hand side. Gets the boost! No! That was so close to being wrecked. Oh my God, how did he manage to survive that? That looked like Alex, he was tipping. He was tipping. He'd been collected by the rear end of Mo. They both went for the spin, but it is Alex that actually came out on top somehow by hook or by crook. He is currently in the lead, but as we saw, this is a tricky track, and it is far from over. Amono, we've already seen him, what he can do against Bumblebee, the chasing that he managed to work out, the pulling it back in the start of lap 2. And it's his turn now to try and see if he can pull out some risky maneuvers. This jump here, is he going to catch it? They both managed to skyrocket over with the shockwave running. No mistakes this time out for both Alex or Amo as they pull themselves ahead. Amo chosen to go low. Alex went high. As far as I could tell, did he gain any ground on him? No. Alex is managing to keep himself a really steady lead at the moment, but now for Alex, can he just close this one out going into the second lap? Steady as she goes. I'm still gobsmacked by that start. That start I absolutely saw. Honestly, I thought Alex was wrecked. I thought that was it. I thought we were going to see Mo go through clean as you like. Still not over yet though for RPM Alex, the man that has been here, done that, got the t-shirt, got the phones, got just about everything he can win. Think through Asphalt. That was close from Mo. That was close. That's took him on a tricky angle here. He's had to pull it tight, which is why he's having to go in. We'll get the shockwave off though, so he's safe for now. He has gained ground on Alex though, so the risky play is paid off as I say that. Commentator's curse hits, and Amo will wreck. Alex will see that, and Amo now, yeah, he's just going to throw everything he's got. It doesn't matter. Alex goes over the line. We're going into, once again, a third race between Amo and Alex. It happened in the upper bracket, didn't it? And now we're going to see it here in the lower bracket finals. These two drivers, they are absolutely neck and neck tight. This is I would say the first time they faced each other, but technically it's the second because they faced each other earlier on today. But they've both been relishing the competition. As Amo said, you know, Alex is someone that he's looked up to and respected for many years in Asphalt history. Not just Asphalt 9, obviously going through the era effectively. And here he is. This is it. Last race decides who will go through to the grand final. Who will face off against Future Flash? Will it be Alex? Will it be Amo? That start was so tight, man. It could be down to who starts on the left-hand side. I don't know. I think that's a little unfair because obviously there's a lot of racing action. But when both competitors are so close in terms of skill, it can be the smallest of details. And for Alex, it was obviously, you know, he was on the left-hand side, got the spin, the rear, clipped the front. I thought he was going to tip over. He just about hit the ground. This time out, though, it's going to be Amo on the left-hand side. We'll see. Alex gets a really good start. That was a very clean start from Alex, and he puts him in the lead to start things off. They dodged the first car, didn't quite catch that boost though, and Alex should be a little bit lower on the boost than Amo is, which is why we're seeing Amo gaining ground. Goes for the spin, tries to gain a bit more boost. Got to be careful coming through this section as they do manage to clip it. They caught each other. Oh, Amo gets away with it somehow. I thought he was going to be wrecked there. I don't know how he survived. Manages to come out with the shockwave intact though and gets the boost that he needed. Now Alex with a still slight lead. They're both really throwing caution to the wind here. You can see they're pulling absolutely everything into it. They know they're fighting for their tournament lives as they try and get through to the grand finals. Both take a really low spin. Both take a second low spin. Amo risking it for a biscuit. Absolutely pays off. Gets the shockwave, but it's Alex that's currently holding the lead as we close out the first lap, and he has himself a boost in the bag as well. So for Amo, he has everything to do here. Big fan favorite chasing in on the legend that is RPM Alex. Amo boosting away as they go into the second time down through the hills, looking for anything. Mo with a really heavy spin gets himself a bigger boost. He's gained ground on Alex there. Is it going to be enough? Keeps on gaining. You can see he's physically getting closer and closer, risking what he can. He's going to skip down. Oh, that's so risky! Oh, and he's thrown everything away. He did what he could to catch up to Alex, but that may well be it for Mo. The emotes come out. They know that that was the risk, and Alex looks like he's going to come through for a rematch against Future Flash, his teammate, as Mo this time out will not be reaching the finals. What a fantastic race though between these two. Yeah, I mean, Mo, he threw everything he had at this one. It's just not enough, and it's RPM Alex that comes out on top. And just like he did in the first time round on Nevada, he comes back from the first race down, and Alex comes out on top, 2-1 in the lead. But what a race, ladies and gentlemen. These guys delivering fantastic racing action, neck and neck throughout the first lap, and obviously up until that moment. I mean, Mo had to risk it, right? He had to risk it. As Alex just said in chat, it is a very risky track. It is indeed. We've covered that track so many times in these finals. I feel the admins are a little bit sadistic in maybe picking it every single time, but that's how it is. So let's get confirmation of the brackets and clear up where we are. We are into grand finals time. Now, this will be moving on. This is a best of 7 now. Future Flash, coming from the winner bracket, will have a 1-track lead. So he's going to be 1-0 up as we go into this. Now, 3 tracks, if we need them. Of course, for Future Flash, he could win it with 3 races and he's done. We're starting things off on Osaka Industrial Revolution for game 1 and 2. Then we'll be moving on to Shanghai, the Pearl of the Orient, for games 3 and 4. And if we need it, we're going to be going over to Cairo, the Nile River, for games 5 and 6, if we go the distance, which totally could happen. However, remember, Future Flash came out 2-0 over RPM Alex in the first time out in the winner bracket finals. So he has himself a big advantage over his teammate. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are into the grand finals of the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 challenge finals. RPM Alex facing off against Future Flash as we hit the streets. It is a tricky track, and that settles it, doesn't it? That settles it. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to say how hard this track is. Alex just proved it, getting wiped out straight away on the Osaka Industrial Revolution. And that almost certainly will be race number 1, barring any major mistakes by Future Flash here in the first lap, let alone the first race. Remember, he's coming into this one with that 1-0 lead, so that'll be a 2-0 lead to start with. And before I even got a chance to talk about it, I wanted to talk about this tight, twisty section. You know, it is a very tricky track. There's no doubt about it. A lot of tight sections. And that's what it's all about, right? If the tracks are easy, it would be pretty boring racing. So they're here to try and catch you out. Alex just, you know, this is effectively practice for him right now. You can see in terms of on the minimap, actually, if Future Flash did have a problem, Alex would actually be on him. He's really gaining ground right now, throwing everything he's got in there. It's a pleasure to see, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you have a wipeout like that so early on. It's a little disheartening. But as you can see, he really has gained a lot of ground on Future Flash. I assume Future Flash is taking it as careful as he can without making sure he doesn't wreck, but he should be safe now. Does hit that wall, but not to worry. Bounces straight off. Shockwave is going to risk it. Goes down for the spin. Should be fine. And just going to close out the lap now. As actually, in terms of Future Flash's perspective, he can't actually see Alex on his screen. So unless Alex is wiped again, which possibly could have, doesn't matter. It goes over the line, and there's Alex coming over. So simple first race for Future Flash. Goes 2-0 up and has himself a a decent, sizable lead. So he's got a cushion is safe to say. No matter what happens, we will obviously be going on to the next race on Osaka once again, but also we'll be moving on to Shanghai regardless of what happens, because obviously we need, for Future Flash, it would be a 4-0 is what he needs. So obviously 4 wins is what they're aiming at. But yeah. Future Flash saying he literally almost wrecked as well. Yeah, absolutely. So for Alex, okay, so what happened was he literally, as the car, he skimmed the edge of the car, and that's what bounced him to the side. I couldn't quite tell at the start, and that's what happened. Yeah, hit the back of a Future Flash's car. That is, hit the skimmed it as they were both jump. I think there's a tiny little jump right before you go through that hole, because on the first lap you have to knock the barrier down, don't you? And I think he literally skimmed it, and that's what put him in the side there. Incredible. That's what happens. That's the how close it can be. Let's see how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Race number 2 underway on Osaka. 2-0 up for Future Flash, holding that lead once again. This time he's got to be very careful coming into that section. It was just here. There was that garage door. I call it a garage door. That's what I'll say. Just as they get into that barrier, you have to knock down on the first time through it. But this time out, it is tighter racing. That's what I like to see. RPM Alex got it all to do here as he goes down through the tunnel, skims as close as he dare onto the corner now. This time much tighter. Both drivers hitting the shockwave boost. I mean, technically it is. Spilling my words as they are much tighter. This is what I like to see. Now, risky racing. Future Flash got an extra spin in there. That's going to give him a little bit more boost. So he should still be safe. That's why we're seeing Alex going for... I've lost count. I was 729, 60. I don't know where we got to now. It's just they keep spinning. It's a 1080 maybe. And it may well just be enough. Just edges alongside Future Flash, ducks underneath. Is it going to be enough? They're going to be very tight. Future Flash goes for the spin, and that's actually going to cost him a place here. And Alex goes through into the second lap and holding the lead. And this could be Alex making a comeback here, but Future Flash is not done yet. He's going to be right on his heels. Still plenty of problems to be had here as they both hit the shockwave. Boosting is just about as much as they can. Neck and neck. Into the corner. Oh, it was a tight low angle, but the cutback comes and works out for Alex. Classic Formula 1 maneuver almost there with the switchback. And at the moment, Future Flash, he's trailing as Alex approaches the line. That's a risky spin, but he knows he needs to get all the boost he can because Alex is approaching that finish line. As they come around the corner, in the end it seems to have cost him time as Alex goes spinning. Just keep your head spinning. It's just spin, spin, spin to win. And Alex looks like he may well just be doing that as he comes across the line and will take himself the second race here to take things back to 2-1. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a grand finals on our hands here. This is what we were looking for as RPM Alex fights back and takes himself another race. Now we move on. We are going to be going over to Shanghai next. That'll be the Pearl of the Orient track layout for the next 2 races. Future Flash got a bit of work on his hands now, and isn't he? The old legend Alex is not going to lie down this time around. I'm gonna put it out there. I have never once, and I've cast Asphalt for years now. I have never once commentated Alex winning a final. I might be the curse. I hope not. But I've never once cast him win a final. Part of me hopes he can go on and do it, but I also need to be unbiased. And just let's face it, Future Flash is his teammate. Future Flash, as I say, he went and obviously won in Milan, wasn't it? Milan in the 2019 tournament many years ago now. 2019. Geez, it was just before the whole lockdown began, right? It was during all that sort of malarkey. But here we go. So, Future Flash in the white this time round will hold just the edge of a lead, but Alex is hot on his heels in the red car. Ooh, just a clip there for Future Flash. So slow him a little bit there. Now, Shanghai is I'm going to say not as risky as Osaka. I think that's safe to say. It's quite a wide track for the most part. There is still sections that will catch you out, but for the most part, this is going to be straight down to flat racing. So it's down to the skill and the grit and determination, I think it's safe to say, of the drivers. Alex taking a tight line there, but a little too tight, if anything. I think costing the acceleration out the corner, which just a little bit of tire skidding, all those small physics engines that can physical things that can cost you on the exit of a corner. You know, if you just take it, if you're trying to hold it, you get that understeer, you just slide the car a little bit more than you maybe want to, rather than just letting it drift wide and get the full power down. So it's the sim racer part of me coming out here. So apologies. Just I get quite deep into the mechanics of it all going around the corners, but as it is here in second lap at the moment, it is Future Flash holding pretty much a steady line. Does go a little bit wide there. That's drawn him in, hasn't it? Now we're looking like a tight race. Alex coming through, gets himself to spin. Oh, that was a brilliant maneuver. Just gets himself the quick 360, knows the exact moment. It's not over yet though. Future Flash trying to go once again. Oh, Alex just caught him there. Just caught him, clipped him as they went for the jump. And that's going to put Future Flash quite far back, and it may well be enough there that Alex is going to get himself the lead and the win here and tie things up at 2 apiece in the series. Future Flash, shockwave boost, is it going to be enough? He gains ground, but I don't think it's enough, and Alex will go over the line. And ladies and gentlemen, we are all square in the series at 2 apiece. And just like that, woo, we have a full-on finals now. The advantage gained from the upper bracket is gone. So we are at 2-2, all square, set the clock back to 0, and we have ourselves effectively a best of 3 now. We are into a best of 3. It's as simple as that. We're back to a best of 3. We have one more track on Shanghai, the Pearl of the Orient, and we will be going to Cairo after this for the Nile River for games 5 and possibly 6, judging by the way this is going. But what a comeback from the old legendary Meister, RPM Alex, putting a performance on now. That was a tight final, and that was also, I would say, a risky maneuver, but also a well thought out maneuver. And this can be part of it. I mean, racecraft is a massive deal when you come to these. Obviously, it's one thing to be sitting doing time trials, but racecraft, and what I'm talking about is knowing your point, knowing the exact point where you can make the overtake, you know, making your opponent second guess. Are you going to be left? Are you going to be right? Generally, you're obviously going to be running pretty much the same lines because you're obviously going for the boosts, etc. So you're trying to run as much as you can. Oh, that was a barrier hit by Alex. That's knocked him back a little bit. Yeah, that was definitely clipped it. You saw his car get lurched over to the right-hand side. That's give Future Flash a bit of a lead. But let's not rate the old Meister out yet. This is where he made that move last time out, knew exactly where he could skim it. And it has gained him a little bit of ground there. That spin just paying off a little bit. Future Flash has got to be so cautious. They do take different lines there, I notice. Future Flash goes wide on that line. Alex does cut a much tighter margin on the line on that particular corner. Keep our eye on it on the second lap, see whether he does it again. I still feel that maybe the wider line it pays off, or certainly if you let the car run wider, it will pay off. Yeah, Alex is realizing he needs to try and do something here. He's starting to fall behind. That's why he's starting to throw the spins in, get some of that boost on. Has gained a tiny bit of ground, but not a great deal on Future Flash into this second lap now. Looking a lot more steadier performance than we expected, that we saw in the first race, that we saw in the upper bracket finals from Future Flash, where he dominated 2-0 in the series on Rome. Again, hits that 360, but that's just the smallest of margins that he's gaining. Yeah, he's starting to throw caution to the wind here, and I think he has to. Does run the tighter line once again on that same corner. Does gain him a little bit of ground, but not a great deal. Not a great deal. Not the margins that he needs to be looking at. He needs to be seeing Future Flash make a mistake in front of him. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Future Flash has realized losing 2 races back-to-back, not the ideal situation that he wanted to. And over the line goes Future Flash. This time around, a clean performance here as he takes the lead once again, 3-2 for Future Flash. A much more rounded, solid performance that we expected from him this time around. So we move on to the final track of the grand finals, and that is Cairo. And the layout will be Nile River for the final 2 games, if we need them. Now, remember, for Future Flash, he just needs one more race. He's won. So, first race here, if he comes out on top, he is the champion of the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 Challenge Finals. It's all in the air. I don't want to put it out there again, but I've never once commentated on Alex winning a final. I've seen him in finals many times myself, even Lethal as well. I'm going to pull him in as well, who I've commentated Asphalt with many times as well. He's covered finals that I've not been there, and I've covered finals when he's not been there, and neither of us have been in the situation where we've caught Alex winning. So I really have my fingers crossed a little bit for him here to try and pull this back and take it to the final race. But here we go. The final track. Will it be the final race? Future Flash just needs a win here on Cairo, Nile River, to become the champion. For Alex, he needs to win 2 back-to-back. He's done it once. Can he do it again here in the grand finals? Future Flash starts off with the lead. Both opting for the right-hand line. Relatively wide track here at Cairo. Not as tight, but there are positions and places where you can absolutely get caught off guard. I wouldn't say it's as dangerous as, say, San Francisco. Choosing to go for the high split there. That's gained him. I wouldn't say it's really gained him anything. I think they're both pretty much at level pegging at the moment. Hasn't really gained any ground. Choosing to go the right side this time instead of left. It was the closer jump, but that has gained him a little bit of ground. So Future Flash, though, still holding the lead. And can he hold out and win the championship here and now? That is the question. Future Flash, it's all on his... Ooh, Alex just caught the inside line there. Not ideal. Such a tricky corner as they go into the second lap. That's going to be the section that they maybe got to watch out for. But Future Flash, he's not being undeterred here, is he? Alex not really gaining any ground. The championship beckons now as they go into this final lap. Gaining ground, Alex hits the shockwave. Second boost, not quite enough. He has gained. Definitely gaining ground on Future Flash here, but Future Flash is holding a steady line, perhaps playing it safe here in the final lap. The nerves may be kicking in as he realizes championship time is just half a lap away now. They both go low. Skip up high. Looking to ride the railings, perhaps? No. Future Flash looking good. Doesn't make any mistakes. It's all going to be about those last few tight corners, isn't it? They split to the left. Alex stays with him. Splits to the left again. Alex stays with him. Here we go. Round the final corner. It is so tight. Alex coming round, but it looks like Future Flash has this one in the bag. Hits it perfectly. And it will be Future Flash that will take the iOS Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 Challenge. Fantastic performance for the young man. His teammate, of course, for RPM as well. Picking up victory here. Was the winner, of course, in Milan as well. So a couple of championships to Future Flash. Fantastic performance, though, overall. He was pressured, he was pushed, but he will take the finals 4-2 in the end there after what was potentially an epic comeback from Alex. It was looking a little risky, wasn't it? The veteran coming back, but what a fantastic performance overall. No mistakes at all made in the last 2 races. Making sure that he absolutely nailed it after what was a really, really tricky run as Alex pulled it back. But congratulations to Future Flash. I would say almost a perfect performance. I mean, obviously if you think back to against Bumblebee, he dominated. Against Alex in the upper bracket finals, dominated, and then coming through to the grand finals. Just drop those 2 tracks. That was the first time, so dropping the 2 tracks. But yeah, absolutely brilliant performance. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we will be over to the Android finals. We've already seen 1 winner. We've got to crown 2 more. We'll join you in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 Challenge Finals. I'm Lee Deman Smith, and of course, the game is Asphalt 9. You know that. You're all here watching me. So we are moving on. It is the Android Finals time now, but I guess we should quickly explain the format of how you guys all got here, just in brief, because if you didn't join us at the top of the show, basically there was qualifiers that ran through, two qualifiers that ran in August. The top two from those qualifiers came through for your each respective platform, be it iOS, Android, or PC. So we've just crowned our iOS winner. We are now moving over to the Android winner. So let's look at the brackets to see who's actually taking part in today. Some names that you guys will absolutely know and love, that have seen in here so many times. It is, of course, Suktee, who I've covered many times, picking up championships, as well as Jagermeister, Elite Joe, the legend from the Americas, and Dark Hyper, who counts himself out as the rookie, effectively coming into this one, because up against such tough competition. And as I say, we've basically got what is normally the North American champion versus against the European champions in this tournament. That's what this is. This is going to be a tough race. Starting things off is going to be Suktee versus Dark Hyper. That's going to be on Nevada Desert Run. And then we're going back over to the Caribbean Beach Landing, which we had earlier on. That's going to be, of course, for Jagermeister versus Elite Joe. What a stacked group once again this is. It's absolutely stacked. It's like I say, like not ordinarily, if we're running regional tournaments, these guys would face off against each other, and I'd always be like, oh, but that's the guy that's champion, that guy's the champion. Now we get to see who the real I guess effectively world champion is, but that's generally towards the end of the year, the actual world championships. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. I did manage to speak to some of the drivers briefly earlier on this morning. They're all pretty much excited to get in here, and looks like we're about ready to go. So Suktee up against Dark Hyper to start things off. Suktee in the blue car, Dark Hyper in the white. So it is Nevada Desert Run, as I pointed out earlier on. And Dark Hyper with a cheeky little maneuver to get things going. There's Suktee, who is now in Fury, by the way, not RPM, used to be RPM for a long time. Obviously, we just saw the RPM finals effectively, is with Fury. It's the tag. He's very happy about it, apparently. For Dark Hyper, it is 8 a.m. in the morning for Dark Hyper. Pretty sure last time I covered Dark Hyper, he was actually in the finals against Elite Joe. So you know, these guys certainly very good, but also very dedicated. Because I don't know about you guys. Oh, Suktee, that was a bit of a mistake, and he knows it. I don't know about you guys, but would you be fresh as a daisy getting up to race in the finals of your game at 6 a.m. and 8 a.m.? That's what Elite Joe's doing. 6 a.m. for him, 8 a.m. for Dark Hyper. These are early mornings for these guys getting up to race. But for Suktee, he finds himself up against it. He's got a bit of work to do here. Second lap and a long way back. Has gained some ground, so whether that's based off Dark Hyper making small errors. Ooh, got a fair bit too much airtime on that one. Yeah, you can see he's just tap boosting, see what he can. Trying to get anything out of there. Hits the shockwave. Just over the top of the bridge. But still doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Dark Hyper is not making any errors here, is he? And Suktee trailing behind, going for the spins, trying to get the boost. That's going to make you dizzy if you watch that a little too hard. Pulls out the shockwave boost a little too hard on the corner, and this should be in the bag, I feel now. As we see Dark Hyper steaming up, approaching the line, and Dark Hyper will take race number one. Very straightforward affair. I think it's safe to say there for Dark Hyper, very clean victory for him in the first race. Want to shake out the nerves early on. Get yourself in there, get yourself ready. And Suktee with a weird champ of what am I doing in the chat. So not too pleased about his performance in the first race. We'll see whether he can make a comeback. As previously stated, this is a double elimination tournament, so obviously upper bracket, lower brackets, lots of racing action. So it's not over yet for either of his drivers. They will obviously go through to the respective bracket to face off. But that said, the other two drivers are Jagermeister and Elite Joe. So wherever you go, it's going to be pretty darn hard. But yeah, these guys are going to be jumping into the next race and getting things underway in just a moment. If you did just join us, welcome to start with. I know there's a lot of people popping in, popping out. I cannot help you. I cannot supply your links or codes or whatever you may be looking for in terms of loot drops. I am here to cover the racing action, the fantastic racing action that we have here. And right now, Suktee trailing 1-0 to Dark Hyper. Dark Hyper with an absolute magnificent start once again. And he gets himself an edge in the lead here. Nevada Desert Run. Let's see how it works out. He's got to get ahead, and he knows, feeling the pressure already here. Does not want to drop down to the lower bracket so early on. You don't want to see that, do you? You have a poor connection. That's not what you want to see for Suktee. Dark Hyper goes leaping into the lead. Trying to tap that boost as much as he can. Both doing pretty much identical. Really well taken corner by Suktee though. That's gained him a fair bit of ground from on Dark Hyper. That was as smooth as you like. Now, I've tried this game many times. I am not remotely on the same level as these guys, but I can appreciate when you make a good move and when you make a bad one. I feel like every time I'm trying to hype the drivers up, they make an error. R.I.P. Okay, so well, it's obviously all on Dark Hyper whether he makes a mistake now. Suktee, unfortunately, looks like he may be dropping down to the lower bracket now. I've cast Suktee winning these finals a couple of times now. Definitely not on his game for this first race against Dark Hyper, who is not putting a foot wrong. Tough race for him. Tough race. Dark Hyper looks like he's very much gone in the distance, hasn't he? You can't even see him on the minimap. He's that far back. Now you can just about see the nameplate. But look how far ahead he is. Oof. This is where the error came through. Not going to happen this time around. just launching it 360 it into the corner. Not going to be close this one, I'm afraid. As Dark Hyper goes over the line. 2-0, quick start for Dark Hyper. That's the start he's looking for as he gets up in the morning. I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to throw it out to chat because I see you guys in chat. Do you think he's got out of bed? It's 8 a.m. Do you think? Because he's playing on the Android, right? Chances are he's probably pretty comfy sitting lying in bed, or sitting up. Do you think he's actually got out of bed to race this morning? I don't know. I think. I guess it's like whatever your comfiest position is to race in. I just throwing it out there. Thoughts and all that lot. Suktee saying he feels like he seems like he's got a bit rusty, and yes, I guess so. That was an unforced error there in the race, but. Exactly. I don't think I would at 8 a.m. I think you feel like, obviously you got to make sure you're woke. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you take a shower, make sure you're awake, prepared. You come into, quite a big tournament final. You got to make sure you're ready for it. But on the same vein, it's 8 a.m. It is. So we're moving on. Let's have a look at the brackets. We're moving on to the next race, which is going to be another massive one. It is Jagermeister up against Elite Joe. As you can see, Dark Hyper will go through to the winner bracket finals, and Suktee will go through to the lower bracket finals. And we're going to see how this one rolls out. Ooh. So here we go. We're getting straight underway. No hanging about. We are into the Caribbean once again. Tricky race last time out. Obviously, we saw this on the iOS already. It was a tricky track. It's all about decisions, I guess, in the opening here, whether they duck in through the cave, whether they go left or right. Now that is interesting. So they both went to the left side there. Let's see if they go to the cave here. So we go down on the beach. Because on iOS, we were going through the cave. Yes, they will. It's Elite Joe that's holding the lead at the moment. Jagermeister tries to get himself the boost he needs. Can he get the spin? He's falling further behind, isn't he? Elite Joe, it's paying off for him at the moment. Try and get himself back into this one. Chooses the left side. So it went middle and left, which is basically the same run that Alex was taking on the iOS. It has gained him ground. It's clearly gained him ground there. So Elite Joe's definitely made some sort of error, but he's still a long way ahead. A lot of work to be done here. Good to see himself gained in once again. Okay, going to be approaching the cave. They're both going to go through. Is it going to be clean? Yes, it is for Joe, and it is for Jagermeister. And you can see he's starting to throw that 360, and that's actually put him wider. I think that was almost a mistake. I mean, he's trying to force them to get the shockwave boosters as much as he can, but it's actually putting him wider on the track. The position to do it wasn't ideal. And Elite Joe looks like he's going to be starting off strong here. Looks like the Americas side is banking well, isn't it? It could be, I would say, an all-American final because it's, I believe, Elite Joe is Mexican, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll say Americas, or NALA, as a lot of people like to refer to the region as, North America and Latin America. Elite Joe over the line, takes himself a very easy first race here against Jagermeister. Jagermeister, as I say, I've covered both of these guys winning championships. I know both of them are absolutely fantastic, but Elite Joe is, last time out, I think it may have been 2020 when I cast him. I think he won the World Championships then, Elite Joe. I feel like I did. I know I've covered him before when he's been picking up some big wins, but yeah. A man that practices 4 to 5 hours a day, absolutely puts in the hours. Joe is always impressive. There's no doubt about it. But now for Jagermeister, he's got a bit of work to do. See whether he can catch up and try and pull this one back. We saw it's possible. Alex did the same thing on the iOS. He pulled it back and managed to get himself a 2-1 win. But for Jagermeister, he's definitely got some work to do. Had a good chat with me earlier on Jagermeister, talking about how he's been enjoying himself. He doesn't have the work barrier that he had before when it was causing him. This was about a year ago. I talked to him, and he was struggling to get practice, but he's definitely been in there a bit more. Loves the Countach, by the way. So it's a very pretty car. Find it slightly difficult to handle, he said, because of his driving style, as well as sometimes acting a little weird on ramps, which is sometimes the physics. As you can see, Jagermeister with the lead early on this time around. Elite Joe's turn to do the chasing. He did say he's feeling slightly nervous because he's had the opportunity to play against and with opponents multiple times against Elite Joe. All of them are incredibly good, which is what we've been alluding to. It's definitely going to be a difficult for everyone to make it through to the final stage. I'm going to hope for the best. That was Jagermeister earlier on today, and well, it's looking like the comeback possibly could be on, but still plenty of racing distance to go here. And Joe is He's gaining ground on the Jagermeister a little bit here as we go through what I called the jungle section earlier on. Kind of trees. I guess we'll go with that. Not that there tends to be too many large jungles in the Caribbean. Into lap 2 we go. Let's see, is there going to be any mistakes at the moment? It has been relatively faultless driving for the two of them. Jagermeister maybe awoken a little bit after that first race. Still a lot of work. Manages to cut it tight there around the rock. So, yeah, he's gained a little bit of ground there, he did. That was a nice section on the beach. It's going to be visible. You're going to see that little dot closing in on you. Obviously, it's always the bonus, right? It's the chase car while you are chasing. You can see when you're physically getting closer. You see that car getting closer and closer and closer. Time, though, is against him here. We're coming towards the end of the lap. And it doesn't look like we're going to see any errors. But look how much ground he gained towards the end there, though. He really did catch back up on Jagermeister, but time is not with him. And Jagermeister goes across the line. So we are tied up, one apiece. You know, these are... both of these drivers have won championships. So, you know, it's not surprising to see them go the distance into the third race here in the Caribbean. Absolutely seems to be all about that start, doesn't it? The start of the race is where a lot of them gaining ground. For Jagermeister gained quite a lot of ground after the start. It seems to be once you get going, you get that fluid, that momentum going. So GG's both drivers, as we have ourselves a real competition on our hands here, moving into the third and final race. Now, the winner of this will go through and face off against Dark Hyper. And, of course, the loser will go down to face Suktee. So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough either way. It's tough either way. There's the absolute champions throughout this bracket. Historic champions. Here we go. It's all about the start. Who's going to come out on top? Dark Hyper awaits in the winner bracket. Jagermeister will just edge ahead of Joe. Only ever so slightly, though. Elite Joe still very much right on his heels. Slight little nudge paying off. The spin that I think Jagermeister didn't want to risk. He's gone wide. Jagermeister's gone wide. They're going to come in almost side by side. So Jagermeister goes for the wider route. It's always quicker to go through the cave, it seems, that Joe took. Now he is right on him. Winner bracket awaits for the champion of this race. So far, Joe harrying and harassing from behind, but Jagermeister comes out on top there. Joe losing a little bit of time. Which way are they going to go? Is it going to be through the middle? Yes, it will. Then they're going to go left again. Yes, they will. Taking the same route. Once again, it's a tight left-hander into a tight right-hander, but it does give you the edge. Into the spin they go. He's got the shockwave ready. Held it a little bit longer than Jagermeister there, I feel. And that's drew him a little bit closer. Just taking that corner slightly smoother. Oh, that's a big error, though, by Joe. And Jagermeister will be delighted to see that. Sad face indeed for Elite Joe, as he takes a risk and it does not pay off. And Jagermeister looks to be going through to the upper bracket finals. And would you believe it, Elite Joe, who I've seen pick up championship after championship after championship over in North America and on the world stage, will be going down to the lower bracket. This is, well, pretty incredible. He's going to be up against Suktee, which in itself is, you know, it's final worthy, right? But that's going to be the lower bracket matchup, which is bonkers. That's just how absolutely stacked this Android bracket is. Jager flying along. Did a fantastic job. Those hours of practice paying off this time around. So Jagermeister makes the comeback. After losing the first race, comes back to take it 2-1. Magnificent performance overall. Obviously, it was all very much neck and neck until the start of that second lap, where Elite Joe made that single error off the jump, skims it, bam, into the wall, settles it. Let's have a look at the brackets and get things sorted out here, because it does mean, of course, neither of these drivers are out just yet. It does mean that Jagermeister will be going through to face off against Dark Hyper in the upper bracket. That'll be coming up in just a moment. And then Suktee will be up against Elite Joe down in the lower brackets. So, I mean, either way you cut it, this is going to be a tough tournament for any of these drivers, because, like, as we say, this is a very stacked tournament, no doubt about it. Let's have a look. I did speak to Dark Hyper earlier on, and he was saying this is his second chance in an official tournament. So that's why he counted himself as effectively the rookie. Safe to say the rookie in there is a little less nervous than he was last time. I think he proved that, taking down Suktee in 2 quick rounds. Yeah, so he knows he's going to be facing off against wonderful players. Yeah, that's absolutely true. He feels that the Countach is an iconic car in real life. It absolutely is. Has been for decades. And he likes that they've kept the design, the lines, which is true. It's like they kept the lines of the Lamborghini Countach, the predecessor. And he absolutely loves the performance of the car inside the game as well. But here we go. Into the finals. As you can see, it is Rome. Dark Hyper taking himself an early lead here. Just to clarify, it is the capital of the world layout, which is one of the tracks I think the majority of them like. It's kind of like I would almost say the favorite track of all the drivers, if anything. Capital of the world. So, Jagermeister. He's got to be feeling on top of the world as well, here in the capital of the world, as he just came back 2-1 over Elite Joe. Now can he take down Dark Hyper? It is tight between them. Unforced error may well be the deciding factor here. Both taking it close. That's slightly smoother for Dark Hyper there than Jagermeister's performance, as he manages to cut his way through the city streets. And now we approach the start of the second lap. Dark Hyper just about edging there, but you can see Jagermeister pushing it the limit right now. Doesn't need to do too much. Ooh, gets a bit of airtime, whereas Dark Hyper stayed low. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to come down on top of? No! Jagermeister catches the truck, hits the obstacle. Oh, he just about edged in the... He is long gone now. So, first race going the way of Dark Hyper. You felt that maybe that was going to work out. Jagermeister chose to go high. Dark Hyper go high, Jagermeister go low, but the risk is, of course, that obstacle is there. And that is the danger, sometimes, of the capital of the world. So, first race. Let's look at it this way. From Jagermeister's point of view, he's been in this situation already against Elite Joe. And here in the winner bracket finals, well, now he knows what he's got to do. Now he knows the competition he's up against. Maybe he's just sizing him up. Dark Hyper, though, so far hasn't dropped a single track, has he? Not dropped a single track. Takes himself another victory. So, absolutely delighted with his performance. After taking Suktee down 2-0 already, he now goes 1-0 up. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much to break down in terms of analysing that. Jagermeister knows the error he made. He knows the risk that he took. That was where he clearly chose to take that risk, because obviously that was his decision, and also knew that could well cost him. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate. GG's to get themselves set up for the next race. By the way, I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, we're getting close to halfway. I just want to say thank you very much for the drivers for being so quick at getting in this, because this is all live. This is all happening live. This is right now, right here, right now. The drivers, I'm in chat with them, and they are absolutely on it. There's no hanging about between races. I just want to say thank you very much to all the admins and everybody involved, and obviously the drivers themselves are involved to make this happen. Dark Hyper trying to get a little bit of boost. Jagermeister tucks down. Oh, that was close to catching the wall. Did Jagermeister catch the wall? I feel like he did. Dark Hyper takes the lead. I feel like he got clattered into the wall there. He definitely hit some obstacle because it's put him a long way back, hasn't it? But now he's managed to gain a fair bit of ground on Dark Hyper, as I think he collected that car, which definitely put him back a fair distance. But Jagermeister's chasing. Meanwhile, Dark Hyper, can he go perfect into the finals? Jagermeister catching more. You don't want to be seeing that. You have a poor connection. That's the last thing we want to be seeing here in what is the upper bracket finals. Dark Hyper. Jagermeister gains yet more ground. He's really reeling him in at the moment, isn't he? Right alongside. Oh, he's clipped the wall. He's clipped the wall. It's not the end of the world. He's still got time. But that's cost him. Oh, it's a sucker punch, isn't it? He's done so much to gain the ground. Maybe boosted a little too much. Just what put him in that position in the first place. But here we go. Second lap underway. Will it be Dark Hyper making the perfect run into the grand finals? Oh, he's hit the spin low there. Oh, that's a tight turn for Jagermeister. This is where he made the mistake last time. Sticks it low. Goes up on high. Smooth corner in, but Dark Hyper is not losing ground here. Tries to cut it a little shorter. It worked out a little bit. Gained a tiny bit of ground, but it's just not enough with one lap to go. Jagermeister just seeing the road being eaten up by Dark Hyper ahead of him. Dark Hyper, who is absolutely driving immaculate right now, is not making any errors. There's the corner that Jagermeister dropped. You can see he gains quite a lot of ground on Dark Hyper on that, but he's just running out of time. There's just a couple of corners remaining. They're going to come around the corner. There's nothing Jagermeister can do. Dark Hyper will be into the grand finals, and Jagermeister will drop down to the lower bracket to face off against either Suktee or Elite Joe in what will be an epic lower bracket final. There's no doubt about it. But wow. Clean driving from Dark Hyper. Second major tournament, absolutely perfect so far. He has been on it, isn't he? He's the underdog. He's the rank underdog coming through, and he has just swept them aside. Love to see it. Let's have a quick look at the bracket as we sweep everybody else aside and see what we have coming up next. Well, it is going to be an absolute cracker. There's no doubt about it. The lower bracket, it's unbelievable to think that this is the first lower bracket match that is going to be showing Suktee up against Elite Joe, which is mind-blowing because these are both champions, multiple-time champions on Android that have absolutely delivered throughout the years. But yeah, Suktee now with Fury, used to be formerly with RPM, is now with Fury up against Elite Joe to see who's going to be into the lower bracket final and who's going to leave the tournament so early on. It's so stacked. It's absolutely so stacked. If you've been a fan of Asphalt 9 and followed the esports scene for this long, you'll realize just like these guys, these have all won championships. This is basically the race of champions right here. Race of champions that happens in real life with various champions from various sim racing and even world real life racing. This is it. This is the Asphalt equivalent right now, the race of champions. It's going to be on the US Midwest is where we're going. Obviously, whirlwind curve. So we already saw the disasters that can run afoul you on this track on the iOS, but here we are on the Android to see who's going to come out on top. Holds a particular place in my heart because I'm an Android user myself. So obviously always very interested to see how this one works out. Elite Joe starts off in the lead as Suktee looks to try and gain some ground on him. But it's a solid start from Joe, who, well, obviously went 1-0 up against Jagermeister in his first matchup on the Caribbean. Whereas Suktee, who, he said after that race he was clearly rusty. This is okay. I've not seen anybody take this low run yet. That's the first time I've seen anyone take that low run. Don't think it really worked out for him. I gotta be honest, I think that's the first time I've seen anyone taking that low run in a finals. Gotta be honest, I don't think it paid off. Gotta be honest, I don't think it paid off. Saying he was rusty, but, you know, after we've just seen Jagermeister get swept aside as well by Dark Hyper, albeit 2 unlucky moments, I would say, from Jagermeister. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how Dark Hyper is going to get challenged in the final. Remember, Dark Hyper will be 1-0 up in the finals as well. As Fury, he's gained a little bit of ground on Joe here, but Joe's going to have to make a pretty big error, I think, to lose this one. Pretty clean running so far. Trying to ride the rail. Goes for the big spin. We saw on the iOS mistakes being made in that exact same spot. Suktee trying once again for the low run. This time, is he going to hit it cleaner? Oh, he looks like he is. So that's what he was aiming at before. And you can see how much that gained for him there. He did definitely gain time on that corner and there as well. He gained a lot of time there. Look at that. But it's like a high risk, high reward type route, right? Which is why we saw in the first time we tried it. When it fails, it really can hurt you. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. But Joe takes himself the first race as Suktee will fall. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Suktee is 1 race from leaving the tournament. It's bonkers to see, really. It was Elite Joe. Could be going through. Elite Joe, as I say, both these guys won multiple tournaments, so it's an insane situation to have to be going through. But it is what it is when you have such good players that are taking part in the esports scene for so long on Asphalt 9. There's only ever one winner. Could it be a new man? Could it be Dark Hyper? Could he be crowned victorious? Said he was very nervous, lost the nerves now. Well, Elite Joe, you only need to just do a small search on Elite Joe and you'll just see different tournaments with different years and different everything in there. Whereas obviously, I could say the same for Suktee as well, to be fair, in the European side. So both these are absolute monstrous competitors taking part here in the Asphalt 9 Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 Grand Finals. You guys are home. If anyone wanted to compete, well, keep your eyes on other tournaments, future tournaments. You too could be here in these tournament finals. The limited time qualifiers took part earlier in August, which is what they got them here in the first place. Joe holding himself the lead, as we expected to do, but obviously we saw the comeback Jagermeister put on him. So we know he's not infallible. He is beatable. Okay, look at that. You can see going lower. Suktee goes lower, and that's the time difference. That's the difference. Look how much that gained already. So it definitely works out better, but it is a high-risk maneuver going down that low section that Suktee takes. Is it going to be enough? That's the question. Hits himself the shockwave once again. Stays tight on Joe as we come into what is the start of the second lap. Look how fine he cut it there. Oh, and Suktee gonna go through. Double shockwave. Oh, and Joe gets wrecked. Joe gets wrecked. Suktee will go through. And that was about as tight a racing as you could hope for. And that will tie up the series if Suktee doesn't make any errors now. And we will be going 1 apiece. Woo! I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a comeback for Joe to make up that ground, to get into the position. But yeah, I mean, did him dirty. I mean, at the end of the day, you are in a competition. You're in it to win it. It's the rules of the game. But yeah, I mean, both were trying the same, right? Both shockwave, both spun. Could have been either one that came out on top. As it was, Suktee paid off. So Joe taking the lower route this time to try and gain the ground. But I'll tell you what, the time was all made up there by Suktee cutting a much tighter line on the final corner. A really, really tight line. This corner just here that Joe's about to take. He took that so tight, which is what gave him the distance. Joe was obviously playing it a little bit more safe. But now we have ourselves a race, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to the third race this time around. Suktee, is it enough? Can he come back? We will see. Just seeing the peppy sad face from Suktee. Yeah, I mean, these guys, they are true competitors. They know what it takes to win, and sometimes you've got to be brutal. And that's what it was. Joe up against Suktee to stay in the tournament. It's incredible. I can't believe this is the lower bracket first match. It's insane. It's absolutely insane to have Suktee up against Joe here. I'm quite excited for this. You may be able to tell. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I am absolutely loving this action. I love it every time we get to the Asphalt finals. It's always an entertaining couple of hours for me. And it is Joe this time that takes himself the start lead. And we are riding the fence posts once again. Nice double bounce from Suktee there. Goes into it, perfect on the corner, smooth as you like. Joe does the exact same. As we follow on through, looking into the next corner. Very tight turn, both clipping the fence posts. The boost just about perfect. Will anyone risk the low run on the first time out? That's the question. Here we go. Spin around. Oh, that was a mistake from Joe. Joe ran a little wide there. Holds it in. Suktee is going to have to go low. There's no doubt about it. Hits the shockwave as he goes low as well, and that puts him right on the tailpipe of Joe once again. And now we know that Suktee really risks it on this last corner. That's going to be where he can make the difference up, perhaps. Keeps the shockwave down over the solar panels. Oh! Straight on top of him! Joey's wrecked! Suktee through! And that is absolutely phenomenal. He must have hit that boost absolutely bang on perfect to be able to make that stick. And Joe could well be out here, ladies and gentlemen. As the first competitor out, I'm absolutely blown away by this. Blown away by this. I mean, as I say, both of these, multiple times champions on the Android in their respective regions. But Elite Joe, I think he's going to be going back to bed after this. There's no doubt about it. Got up bright and early for this one. Actually woke up earlier and went back to sleep, put his alarm back on. As he said in Discord. I think it's probably because I highlighted his name and he woke up. Sorry about that, Joe. He's going to have to take the low run. Didn't have the shockwave available. Chased it on the second chance on the spin. But you can see way down the road is Suktee, because when he wiped him out, he was in full shockwave boost, so he just got such a huge margin over him. Just needs to take that final corner well, and that's what he's done. Suktee will go through, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Elite Joe will be the first competitor out of the Android tournament. Wow. Absolute bonkers. Big sad face from Suktee. Joe with a WTF. Oh, these things happen. This is thing to happen. What happened at the ramp? That's what Suktee wanted to know, because he definitely slowed down a lot. Like I don't think Suktee hit the shockwave and Joe didn't. I don't know. I don't think they did, but the drivers are having a debrief and figuring out how it happened. But crazy stuff. Let's have a look at the brackets, because I'm blown away by this. It does mean that it is an all-European a lower bracket final now, as Elite Joe is out of the tournament. Crazy. So Jagermeister up against Suktee. I've called that as a grand finals many times, but that's not the case. It's the lower bracket final to see who's going to go and face Dark Hyper, who has been immaculate. 2-0 in both of his races, straight into the final. He's got himself a one race advantage in that final as well. And now for Jagermeister and Suktee. For Suktee, you know what? A great comeback. It's like that's all I can say. Absolute great comeback. And if you think of the two races he won, he came from behind. He had to sit there a lap down, using his advantages where he could, and came from a lap down. Now, we move on to what is, I feel, one of the toughest tracks. It is San Francisco, the city that never sleeps. It is a really hard track layout. We saw it with Alex in the iOS. It is a very hard track layout. There's lots of areas for mistakes to be made on this track, and it can be brutal. It can be absolutely brutal. Suktee gets himself the lead early on against Jagermeister in the pink, and Suktee in the blue. And there are so many places where this can absolutely cut you to pieces. So down the hill they go, no mistakes made, but Jagermeister definitely gaining time on Suktee. He goes for a very risky spin down on the docks there. Both running pretty much the same line this time. They're going to make sure this bridge is clean. Ooh, they're going to be landing side by side. Could land on top of each other. Jagermeister hits the ramp, and that's going to give him the lead. A great overtake there from Jagermeister. Could have gone very wrong. Clipped himself onto the bus, though. Has to hit the shockwave. This is not over yet because Suktee is right on his heels still. Nice play, though, from Jagermeister to get himself ahead there. Just executing the boost at the exact right time. Suktee just clipped that car, I feel. May have just cost him a little bit of time as we go down the hill one more. Off the building. Holds it, gets himself the gentlest of spins. I don't think Jagermeister risked it, which is why he's just gained a little bit of ground there. As we go across the docks. Does go for the spin. Goes for another spin, really trying to build that boost bar to its maximum. Aftershock should be ready going over here, over the Golden Gate. Definitely gained a lot of ground. Suktee misses the first ramp. So, sorry, hits the first ramp, whereas Jagermeister missed it. Both go under. Gaining on him, but Jagermeister is looking pretty perfect on this second lap, and absolutely will be. He picks himself up the first race. Jagermeister will take the first, 1-0. That is a... Suktee just said, "You mad lad, Jagermeister. You went for the bridge trick." And the Jagermeister's like, "I actually didn't. It just happened to work." He didn't actually go for it. It just happened. Yeah. Woo. That was tight. That was tight. Yeah. So, well, okay. We're going to get on to the next one. Yeah, actually, that's what I thought. So, fair play to Jagermeister. He actually edged to the side, because what I thought I 100% thought Jagermeister was going to land on top of Suktee, and I thought that was going to wreck Suktee. I thought that was going to be it. But because he nudged to the side, it actually bounced Jagermeister onto the extra ramp, which is what gave Jagermeister the lead, because he obviously got the boost off the ramp and away he went. And that's yeah, that's just how fine a margin it is sometimes with these guys. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Dark Hyper's still sat waiting in the finals. We'll see who's going to get there. Is it going to be Jagermeister? Will he do it in 2? Or will Suktee once again have to make the epic comeback like he did against Elite Joe? Thought he was rusty against Dark Hyper, but turns out Dark Hyper's just on it today. Jagermeister, though, in the lead. So down the hill we go. Both taking a, well, actually, I would say a more subtle approach from Suktee there. She does put him a little bit closer. Doesn't go for the 360 this time. If he was losing the time on that first one, double 360 that also known as 720. Both going up and over the bridge. So this is where the difference could be made. Gets the 1, gets the 2, so does Jagermeister. Jagermeister goes for the spin underneath there, which is going to give him the shockwave earlier. Suktee chose to go smoother rather than double shockwave, but obviously Jagermeister with more boost will keep him pretty much ahead. It's just the 2 different approaches there. Suktee missing the boost on the right-hand side, whereas Jagermeister did clip it. So once again, Jagermeister just collecting more of a boost than anything else. And once again, down the hill. Not a lot of ground in between the 2. Suktee's pretty... Ooh, I think he was considering a 360 there and then didn't go for it. And That almost cost him the element of doubt there. Oh, that's a little wild from Suktee. Oh, he just managed to nail it though. I think the shockwave boost almost caught him out there. Did what? Whoa, 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 whoa! Did Jagermeister? I think Jagermeister must have wrecked. Jagermeister must have wrecked. We missed it. We missed it back there, but he almost certainly did. And well, he wrecks again now. And that is Suktee picking himself up the win from. I don't even know. I didn't even see it. I just saw him just disappearing on the thing. So I mean that final section, man, it is so tricky. And Suktee pulls it back to 1-1. I honestly thought that was over. I thought that was going to be a quick 2-0. I don't even know. I didn't even see the... Did he go for the 360? Because he went over the bridge. It wasn't the Golden Gate. It was after the Golden Gate. It's safe to say Jagermeister's not happy with that one. He's not too pleased about that one. Didn't actually see what it was though. I didn't see what caused it, but he needs to now get that out of his mind. He needs to get that out of his mind because obviously that's whatever happened. I think he went for the 360, went over the bridge, and he did it in the first lap, right? He went for the 360, and it was so risky. And I got a feeling he probably did the same again. Oof. He clipped something after the triple, did he? Yeah, it was definitely at the ramp. It was definitely at the ramp area where he did it. Yeah, and yeah. I just saw him just disappear off camera. I didn't see where it was because we were following him behind Suktee. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A battle for the ages. What has been many times the European Grand Finals is now the lower bracket finals. Jagermeister with the smallest advantages in the lead. Suktee already made a comeback after being 1-0 down to Elite Joe. Can he do the same against Jagermeister once again? Just like in both of those races, he had to come back from behind in the race after the start. Managed to make it work. Suktee, multiple times champions. Oh, that's a wide run from Suktee. Jagermeister risking the spins, as is Suktee. Suktee playing it, I would say, a little bit more safer there. Now they go. This time, cleaner and safer. Oh, that was a slow drop from Jaeger. There's the triples. This is going to be where it was. I feel like he dropped down there, and he must have clipped a bus. I feel like he must have clipped a bus, which probably put him off track. That's the only thing I can think of, or whether... Because I don't think he caught the bridge, did he? I don't think so, anyway. Anyway, either way, that was the last race. This one's now. And Suktee at the moment is, well, hard-pressed to keep back on him because Jagermeister is on it. That's slightest of errors, but nothing major. Suktee holding a clean line, but so did Jaeger. Suktee realizing the danger, so now he goes for the 720 on the docks. Another 720 coming through, getting that boost up. Will ride it through, gets himself another shockwave through, but Jaeger doesn't look like he's giving any ground this time. Doesn't get the spin this time. That will maybe gain a little bit of ground for Suktee. You can see how much he's gaining. We'll pass him in the air. Suktee goes through. Unbelievable stuff. Jagermeister behind. And just the smallest of fractions of margins is what may well have just cost him the race, and it has. Suktee has done it again. Would you believe it? Oh my word, in the final sector, Suktee pulls it off and he will knock Jagermeister out of the tournament and go through to the grand finals up against Dark Hyper. What a finish. What a finish once again. God, I love that track. It delivers every time with such amazing races. Wow. Even HyperX, Dark Hyper, is in the chat like, holy moly, what a final. What a race. Oh my God. What a finish, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing, amazing stuff. And just the smallest of margins, the tiniest of margins, just that one decision of the barrel, the barrel roll. That's what it was, just the barrel. And you could see immediately when Suktee hit the barrel roll and Jagermeister hadn't, you could see him slowly gaining. And obviously, the fact is, when you're on a straight, if you're faster, You know, it's just bump, 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 couple of hitting all this. I mean, they pretty much hit everything else. It was simply that single barrel that put them out. Wow. All right, let's have a look at the brackets. That was bonkers. That was absolutely bonkers. This is delivering time and time and time again. Some amazing racing action today, ladies and gentlemen. But there it is, the grand finals. Dark Hyper, he's going to be coming into this with one race advantage over Suktee. Suktee, though, the king of comebacks, taking down Elite Joe after being one down and being behind in both those races he won. And then does the exact same against Jagermeister. And as a lot of you guys in chat have pointed out, teammates here, both for Fury in the grand finals, Dark Hyper and Suktee. Bonkers. Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers stuff. Absolutely fantastic racing. Yeah. Woo. Incredible, incredible. We're on to Osaka. We're on to Osaka, ladies and gentlemen. We're into the grand finals, and away we go. Absolutely incredible stuff. Yeah, Future Flash also pointed out to me, thank you very much, saying the forced barrel roll saves a lot of time. Yeah, it absolutely did. Insane, insane finals that we have here. But now let's talk about the grand finals, because Dark Hyper has, as of yet, been unbeaten. He's gone through 2-0, taking down Suktee in the first matchup, his teammate. Suktee saying he was very rusty, but clearly that rust has very much been shaken off. But Dark Hyper gaining a little bit of ground there on that corner. It is a very tight section here towards the end of the first lap. Have to be very careful. They both absolutely hit it perfectly. Whew. I'm still a little bit in shock. I've got to regain my composure after that finish. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by it, but what a brilliant finish it was. Both making some slightly rough landings there. Not the cleanest for both of them. But Dark Hyper still finds himself trailing Suktee. And now remember, you can see obviously there is that 1-0 lead up. You haven't missed a race. That is simply because Dark Hyper's come through the winner bracket, whereas Suktee has run the gauntlet and raced every single race there has been. Continues also to hold a steady lead. This is where Dark Hyper had a better run than he did, and he absolutely does it again. Nails the corner side by side coming in. Will have the inside line, gets that inside line. It knocks Suktee off his rein, and that completely throws up his momentum. Dark Hyper looking golden once again to take himself his first race, and that unbeatable run that he's had so far, not losing a single race, could well be maintained. Gets himself the spin in there, should land perfectly, hasn't landed perfectly. Suktee is coming back on him. Is there enough track to gain? No. Runs out of time, and Dark Hyper will take himself the first race, taking it to 2-0. That's tight though. That's tight. You see how good these guys are. These are absolutely tight races. Fantastic stuff. Oh, okay. All right, I'm still riding on a high after that lower bracket final. I've got to get myself back into this one for the grand final. Now, let's not forget, Dark Suktee, yes, he's gone one track down, but he's been in this situation multiple times, and today, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you may be, this evening, I guess we could be getting close to now, as we're, as always, 4 o'clock my time. I think it's similar time zones. For Dark Hyper, well, he's going to be fresh and awake now, right? His first race was at 8 a.m. He's now going to be pretty much up. He shook out the cobwebs, got himself a perfect run so far. 5 races, absolutely smashed every single one of them. Completely dominated. Back to Osaka we go, ladies and gentlemen, for the Fury battle in the grand finals. Dark Hyper, absolutely impeccable so far. Has not made a single mistake. Or if he has, he's recovered well from them. Let's put it that way, because he's come back and taken victory in every single race so far today. For Suktee, well, the veteran, I'm going to call him a veteran now because he's been in these championships so many times, has certainly shaken off the cobwebs. But has he rode his luck so far? Both times on that corner in the first race, we saw Dark Hyper come out on top. This time Suktee pretty much met him pace for pace on that corner. It is definitely a deciding factor because it sets you up for the straight. That was a bit of a mistake, but Suktee hasn't really gained too much from it, has he? Just using the extra boost to keep himself in the lead at the moment. But has that cost him in the grand scheme of things? Has Suktee got more of a boost built up here as they hit the shockwave? Looking neck and neck so far. Suktee with a bit of work to do. Does he find a weakness in Dark Hyper's play? It's going to be all about that tight corner, isn't it? This is where it's going to be. Okay, here we go. It's at the end of this. Ooh, that was a wall. Did he just clip the wall? He absolutely clipped the wall. He ground along the wall. That's good. Yeah, just cost him so much time. No chance. No chance. This is going to be Dark Hyper taking this one. Don't quite know what happened with Suktee there. Was it a slight connection? I'm not too sure. But either way, he was just grinding against the wall for a few moments, which just cost him quite a lot of time overall. So didn't exactly see what caused that. Either way, that's 3-0. Dark Hyper is on to championship point already as they come over the line. Ah, okay. Just a wreck from Suktee there just to finish things off. But championship point. Okay, well, this is it. Is anybody going to take a race off Dark Hyper? Is anybody going to take a race off Dark Hyper today? Because he is unstoppable. We're moving on in track, so we're going over to Shanghai now. We will move over into the next track. And I got to be honest, I'm not even sure. We're into the Pearl of the Orient is the layout. But yeah, these guys, they do not seem to be, certainly Dark Hyper doesn't seem to be making any mistakes, does he? Suktee just said, I hate that track so much. I guess it's safe to say. I guess it's safe to say. So it's 3-0 right now. And we move on to what could be the final track, Shanghai. Or will Suktee have a comeback performance for the ages? It would be the fullest of comebacks. He can't afford to drop a single trace now. 3-0 down in a best of 7. One win is all that Dark Hyper needs. And what can we say about it? You know, he's coming into this and saying, yes, this is only my second major tournament. I'm not as nervous as I was in the first. And boy, is it showing. Absolutely nailing it. Both representing Fury, Dark Hyper and Suktee. And away we go. Into Shanghai. Dark Hyper dominating the Android series against what is and what has been an absolutely stacked competition to be here in the first place. Suktee trails once again as Dark Hyper already sets himself up a mighty lead. However, his former teammate in that exact spot just there where we saw Suktee gain ground managed to make an epic overtake. Ooh, did Suktee just completely miss the corner there, or is he purposely swinging wide to get the boost? He just seemed really late on it. Went for the wide line. We saw Alex taking the more of the apex earlier on in the iOS side. Gets himself the boost over. Pretty much the gap maintained by Dark Hyper so far. Now, is this the final lap of the tournament? Suktee needs to do something, and he needs to do it soon. And the problem is with this track, it is such a... Oh, that's it. That's it. That was a mass... Yeah, he's wrecked. He's wrecked. Suktee's wrecked. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a champion. And an unbeaten, absolutely dominant champion at that. Dark Hyper has blown away the competition and will be taking victory here. Let's have a look at Dark Hyper if he's going to go over the line as the champion. Absolutely nitro shockwave in all the way. And as I was saying, the problem is Shanghai is if you're trailing, it's very hard to catch up because it's such an open, wide circuit. There's not too many areas. Like, you know, obviously think of Rome, think of San Francisco, etc. Not too many areas where you can make errors. But Dark Hyper is your champion, ladies and gentlemen, on the Android for the Asphalt 9 Lamborghini Countach LPI Challenge Finals. And what a deserved champion at that. The rank underdog, it has to be said, when compared to the likes of Suktee, Jagermeister, and Elite Joe. But he has blown them all away and not dropped a single race throughout. So much so, he's probably going to catch the PC guys off guard because he's been so quick that he's absolutely flown through the tournament. And they guys need to get themselves ready. But what a performance! What an absolute brilliant performance from Dark Hyper. Is it the future? Well, may well be. You know, are we seeing a changing of the guard effectively as one king passes on the crown? Or I guess you could say multiple kings passing on the crown to Dark Hyper there as they all get blown away. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's only so far that Suktee could go with the double comeback, the comeback over Joe, the comeback over Jagermeister. Just one step too far, maybe took it out of him a little bit there. You know, having to do race after race after race after race it was a lot to ask. So we're not quite done yet. We have one more competition to go, and that is the Windows Finals for the PC. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we will move on and see who we can crown our final champion. See you in a few.
This house is cold and empty, just a ghost of who I used to be. Stare at my own reflection, wonder if you'd even recognize me. Who's gonna say goodnight? Who's gonna...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 Challenge Finals here on Asphalt 9. I am Leader Man Smith, as you can see. I've been commentating Asphalt for many, many, many years now, as well as many other esports titles. And I'm delighted to say this is my first time casting Windows PC Asphalt 9. I have never done that before. This is my first time. I've covered iOS, I've covered Android, but for the first time I'm getting it out in to see what the PC has to bring. Obviously, I'm a PC man. I'm using my PC right now, so I'm actually quite excited to see what the competition is like on here. Obviously, in comparison to, say, what iOS and Android, which we've just had two amazing, amazing tournaments on. If you are unsure of how we got here in the first place, or you've just landed on the page and find yourself watching this, then first off, welcome. And second, let's just talk about how the format was. They had two limited qualifiers, both at the start of August and at the end of August, which is where we found the top two drivers that came through to get here in the first place, as I try and fend the cat off my feet. If a cat just suddenly jumps on my lap, you'll know about it. But that's how they've got here. That's how we've managed to get our four drivers. Time trials going through. And judging by the last two competitions we've had on iOS and Android, the very best are the guys that have been here in this competition. So let's have a look at the brackets to see exactly who we have for the Windows PC. Starting things off, as you can see, there are quite a lot of titles in there. As my doorbell goes, wonderful. Two teams from Pro, actually the leaders of the Pro tournament. That is Racer Best and Suktee, aka Will, and RPM Al versus As my dogs are getting hyper about the doorbell going. The guy won't deliver. I can tell you what it is. It's an Amazon package, and it's one that I really want. But unfortunately, I broadcasted. He had hours to deliver it, and then he does it while I'm live on air. Brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Well, it'll just have to wait. Anyway, that's who we have. Let's show the brackets of what who's falling where. It will be Racer Best up against Al from RPM, and it will be Suktee. I didn't actually ask him is how he pronounces it. Suktee versus N2O. Or Bwin. They have different names in Discord than they do in the brackets. So we're going to be starting things off as we have done. God, this guy doesn't give up. I don't know if you can hear my doorbell, but he doesn't give up. This is third time ringing. He really wants to deliver this package. It's going to be starting things off. We are into the Nevada Desert Run as we get things underway. It is Racer Best versus Al. Racer Best is going to get himself to start here. Both representing their org. They are the leaders of the org, actually, I think. Obviously, RPM we've already seen. For Al, we've seen Alex performing brilliantly earlier on. God, my dogs are joining in. It just keeps on knocking that doorbell. He's insistent. But either way, Racer Best. Let's talk about him because he has himself a fantastic start here. But we know what this track is all about. We know you can make that shortcut. And that was a mistake from Al there as he hits clips the inside. Not the ideal line. as they try and get things sorted out. We'll go low. Try and run it low. Now can he go for the spin? Doesn't risk the spin. Will hold it. Doesn't catch the truck either. Second time of asking. Goes to the tight corners. Tight right, tight left. Up over the hill we go. And then into the tunnel for lap 2. And, well, the gap has kind of been maintained throughout. Oh, that was a mistake from Al. He did not want to actually go that side. Yeah, that was a mistake. He was just running so wide. It was good to react as quick as he did, so he didn't wipe out, clashing into the concrete. I can't remember. My brain's checked out. But yeah, that was a big mistake from Al. He should have tried to correct himself, but unfortunately, that's put him further back, and I don't think he's going to be able to gain the ground here. It's a tricky track. There's no doubt about it, and there is potential for Racer Best to make a mistake. But it doesn't look like it's the case. Racer Best, I believe Racer Best was the one that was talking to me. Yeah, so he's a 26-year-old finished guy. Has played it since launch. And he is the self-proclaimed top 1 legit player in Asphalt 9 Legends. There you go. He won the 2021 Team Edition as well on Windows as well. So certainly got some high pedigree. Has Racer Best proclaiming himself the top 1, and you know what? He's won the first race, so why not? Why not proclaim yourself the best? Let's see if he can. Let's see if he can back it up and take that self-proclaimed into and make it official. Is the best way I can put it. For Al made the switch over from PC from mobile to PC. Reckons he's one of the older guys, and when he says he's 35 years old, I'm still a lot older. Trust me. Yeah, and he's been in RPM for about 2 years, so still improving every day, considering himself up and coming, rather than one of the top. Well, he's up against one of the top drivers right now, so we'll see how it goes as we get race 2 on the way in just a second. Apologies if you're hearing my dogs going wild. I don't think this. I tell you what, Amazon, if you're out there, full credit to your delivery guys for trying their best to deliver this parcel about 5 times, ringing the doorbell. And he really, in fairness, it is absolutely pouring with rain outside, so I don't blame him. He's probably just like, oh my God, this is my life. Anyway, Racer Best. Oh, did he just outdo himself? No! I was just about to say they've got to be careful of the concrete bollard. And I actually thought Racer Best was going to hit it. He cut inside, and it left Al just sort of. The little clip just sort of sent him on the steering into the bollard. And that may well have decided it in the very first corner. May well have just decided it in this very first corner. It's a little unfortunate. I don't think he did him dirty. I don't think so. I don't think that's fair to claim, because they were both in a slide. Just Racer Best realised I think he had to cut across. I would say more of an error on Al's side than anything else, but it happens. It happens. And, well, we'll see if he can come back from it. I'll be surprised if he can, but who knows. I have seen some pretty strange things in Asphalt in terms of unforced crashes, etc. So into the right-hander where obviously the mistake was made. Pretty clean run so far from Racer Best, though. Doesn't seem to be making any mistakes, does he? Skips across, gets himself the full boost. Al just doing what he can, boosting everything he can. Knows that very much this is down to not his decision to win it. It's all down to whether Best makes himself the mistake. Not having the cleanest of runs, though. Maybe. I feel that sometimes, especially for these guys that have, and also obviously looking to the next guys that are going to be racing in just a moment, I feel for these guys that it can be. I don't know. What do you guys in chat feel? Do you feel you would rather race first, like the iOS guys? They race, they got it out of the way, or would you be the last tournament? They've had to sit there waiting. I mean, they could have been doing other stuff, but chances are they've probably been watching the iOS and Android tournament to see how that goes, because it's the same tracks, right? I mean, yeah, they might have been putting some practice in, but I feel that maybe the nerves are just build. You'd rather go last? I don't know. I think I'd rather sort of get it out of the way. I think maybe, I'm not too sure, but as it was, it will be Racer Best going through pretty clean 2-0. Can he mimic what Dark Hyper just did? Can he mimic what Dark Hyper just did? We'll see. We'll see. For Al, he's going to go down to the lower bracket. And not a lot really to say about that race, other than he got wiped out earlier on. Yeah, just there you go. So we move on to the brackets. Yeah, Svetsky going to be, is it Svetsky? I live in Germany right now. So for me, the W's are V's. You never really know how it is. It could be Swetsky. Let's have a look. What's his name? Will Winter. So chances are he's probably English. So it's probably Swetsky, as in like sweaty, Swetsky. That's what I'm going to go with. I didn't think to ask him. I asked Al how you pronounce Al, whether it's AI or Al. But yeah, Swetsky. And Al says, watch out with the shoving at the start there, Racer Beast. Racer Beast says, GG, that's how no ghost racing works. Yes, indeed. That's I mean, that is, I talked about this in the iOS and we briefly touched on it in the Android, but the fact is, in racing, whether it be arcade racing, sim racing, real racing, physical real racing in cars, there's two different types of driver. There's those that can hot lap, which means they can basically do lap after lap after lap, real quick times. And there's those that can race, that have the racecraft, that know how to race against not only the track, but when there's an opposition in the way, when there's an opponent, you know, knowing the point to overtake, knowing the position that you can move on. We're on Caribbean, sorry, I didn't even mention that. Onto the Caribbean for the second round here. Svetsky up against N2O, but yeah, it's very different styles of racing. Sometimes taking the fastest line is not actually the correct decision in a race. Sometimes you got to be defensive. Sometimes you got to be looking for where your opponent's maybe going to go and maybe mind gaming them into making a mistake. That was a heck of a boost for N2O that didn't gain him too much time. But with Swetsky trying to go for the quick 360 there, lost a bit of time. Ooh, almost got the undercut. Oh, N2O. Oh, I was a little nervous there. That's where Elite Joe cost himself some time and actually wiped himself out. I thought we were about to see the same for N2O there, as Elite Joe did on the Android. Wasn't the case though, but he is still behind. Let's see how it works out. Still very tight. I gotta be honest, N2O seems to be cornering a lot nicer than Svetsky. Definitely gaining a lot of time in the corners, but overall, on the boost, not quite. Again, really nice cornering, but the problem is Svetsky is there. You know, you can't physically go through. You can't go through. It's not a ghost car you're racing against. It is an actual physical Lamborghini Countach in your way. At the moment. Ooh, didn't quite catch the swing right. Good prediction, though. Now we're on it. We're coming up to the line. Oh, tried to go for the undercut. Oh, you can see what N2O tried to do there. That was dirty. He tried to boost and bump him out the way, didn't he? That was 100% what he tried to do there. Whoa. That was 100% trying to get into the side of him and knock him. That's exactly what he tried to do. Didn't quite work out for him, which is why you saw him going into the wall there. But, yeah. I think it's safe to say the heat has turned up a little bit for the PC players. I think it's safe to say that the heat has turned up a little bit. But I agree with what you're saying there, Excel. Absolutely a phenomenal racing line. Yeah, definitely. Like on the corners, he was gaining every time. He was really clean on those corners. So definitely something that Swetsky's going to have to keep his eye out here. But Swetsky is 1-0 up. And could we have a all-pro final? That's the question. So here we go. Yes, and a lot of people know him as B Wine. I should say that. N2O is known as B Wine. So as it stands, though, it is Suktee once again taking the lead. Both going in for that tight angle before the rock. We've seen on iOS and Android a couple of people have took a wider line, but look at that. They're talking clean lines. Look at that overtake. Absolutely smooth as butter. N2O just blasted through. Love to see it. And now we're going to have a race on our hands here. Once again, smooth. He absolutely drills the racing line to perfection, hitting the apex, kissing the apex almost as he just brushes on by. And Suktee's got a bit of work to do here now, as N2O seems to be refining his craft in this second race. Again, sees him just absolutely nailing it. Suktee hits the rocks. And that's the end of this race, unless there's a big error by N2O. Still see whether he can maybe come back. Bit of work to do. Still, I just feel that N2O's racing lines is are we getting smacked up between the regions now? This is what I between the platforms. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Future Flash tells me Racer Beast is nowhere near the best. The iOS champion laying down the talk. This is what I like to see. I've got them in different channels, this is the thing, but I know you're all in chat. I see you there. I like to see a little bit of smack talk between the different platforms. Well, I mean, a pretty straightforward victory there for N2O on the second race. So we are all square one apiece. Suktee picking up the first, N2O picking up the second. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to go through to that upper bracket final? Will it be an all-pro battle? Suktee has started off and led the first two races so far, but the clean lines that N2O has been taking have been phenomenal. So we'll see whether he can come back into this third race overall. I do like the banter. I do like the banter between, because before it's always been iOS and Android banter. I've never had this third angle of like whether it's like a triangle battle now. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I like it. We'll never know unless they all race on the same platform, which is always going to be unfair for someone, right? Suktee getting himself off the line. Just going to nudge ahead. Should have the inside. Yep. Just gets that front, gets half a car width ahead. And a very slow first jump over the ramps. N2O though. Looking to see if he can run those clean lines like he did on Suktee in the last race. Suktee himself just going to tighten things up a little bit. You've got to remember that he won the first race. You know, he's had some pretty tight racing in that one. Let's see how the corners go, how they fare, because this is where N2O was gaining ground before. Definitely gained a little bit there. Once again. Yeah, definitely gaining ground there. He definitely gains it in the corners. There's no doubt about it. He has the handling for this car absolutely on rails, doesn't he? Smooth as you like. And look how much gain. He just gobbles up on the corners. Oh, that was not a clean run. Oh, that was a bounce, but it's actually put him onto Suktee a little luckily maybe. And now he's right on the bumper as they go through it. And that was a spin. Spiraled out. Does it losing ground? Well, he loses position, Suktee, and now he's under pressure. Racer best awaits in the upper bracket. Al awaits from RPM in the lower bracket. N2O though, coming back from behind twice. Oh, Suktee, that's a bounce that he didn't want to see. And that's given N2O a bit more of a gap, hasn't it? And N2O generally has been quicker through these corners both times. Oh, he pulled it too tight. Suktee caught the barrier in the inside. And Suktee starts to fall behind even more as N2O continues the smooth lines. Tries to straighten out the circuit as much as he can. Hits it perfect on the apex there. Perfect on the apex once again. He gains ground on N2O. But is it going to be enough? The finishing line is approaching. They both land perfectly. They can't manage to come down on top of each other. And N2O will come back and take it 2-1 and move through to the winner bracket finals against the RacerBest. Interesting. So, B-Wine, N2O, Neo, whatever you prefer to call him, multiple names, but he's into the upper brackets. And I got to be honest, some clean lines. Suktee's not out yet. He just goes down to the lower bracket. He goes down to the lower bracket to face Al from RPM. Let's have a look at the brackets, actually, just to confirm that for you guys. Some of you may be confused in chat, but some of you may have just joined us. Some of you may have been enjoying the whole tournament throughout. But welcome, whichever way. As we say, RacerBest up against N2O in the upper bracket final. That will be next. And RPM Al versus Suktee down in the lower brackets. Tough competition throughout. Let's see. I believe we move on to Rome, don't we? Yes, we do. Rome up next. Just waiting for it to load in. Capital of the world, and many racers' favorite tracks across all platforms. Everybody loves this track, it seems. So this is for, well, an advantage in the grand final. An advantage in the final. The RacerBest just about edging out, but look at this. N2O all over his bumper. Sucking in those exhaust fumes as they ride the jumps. Did he miss the boost? I think he missed the boost. N2O missed the boost, didn't he? Yes, he did. He did miss the boost. That's going to give RacerBest a slight advantage. Yep, drops down in front of him. Second time round, but again, we know RacerBest has some brilliant angles. He knows he can run the corners very well. The camera's all over the place. RacerBest. N2O. I tell you what though, as clean as N2O takes these corners, RacerBest is doing just as well. Absolutely, easily just as well. Smooth lines, but that's a slight advantage. Is it going to be enough? He's going to try and cut down on the outside. No. Okay, who's going to go higher or lower? Okay, this is where he tries to make the difference. This is where N2O chose, and he left it to the last minute to choose to go up high. But is it going to work out? They come back side by side, dodges the car, but N2O's got himself the slight lead now. Really nice move, and you saw with N2O, he left it to the very last minute to see where RacerBest was going, and then ducked off to the left-hand side, and now he's boosting for all he's worth. RacerBest doesn't quite clip that nicely. N2O lands smoother, and he's going to keep and maintain the gap as he now comes around, and it is smooth sailing from here on in. I can't imagine a way where RacerBest is going to come back to this one, because N2O should be holding this one. Just a couple more corners. This is the tricky one. Will he hold a smooth line? Oh, he absolutely rails it. N2O just rides the two bumps with the boost. Perfectly done. And he is going to go across the line in the lead here. And he will be taking that first race. Incredible stuff. Great comeback, and N2O showing he has the racecraft and knows how to get it done. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant stuff once again from B-Win, N2O, whichever. He's got multiple names, but he absolutely delivers on the racetrack. He finds himself 1-0 up in the upper bracket final here. Brilliant stuff overall. Ooh. Some clean racing. I like to see it. And what I loved about that was just he chose. And I was just wondering, is he going to stick to the same line? And as soon as he saw RacerBest take the jump and go off to the right, knowing that he was going to go low, over to the left. Just that last second. It's like, right, I'm going to take this route and see if I can get it. And he ran that route perfect as well. Absolutely ran it perfect. Here we go. 1-0 up for N2O. Can he do it again? Can he get through to the final? Oh, Racer Best rubbing his racing. I tell you what, he gets his elbows out at the start of these races, doesn't he? Did the same thing against Al. This ain't ghost racing. This ain't time trials. Racer Best landed a little bit earlier there, picking up the boost, which N2O went over. Giving the slight advantage there. Why you can see he's got that slight boost advantage ahead of him. Manages to hit the shockwave, whereas N2O didn't have it. Although, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure that shockwave actually benefited him too much. Now he both have it. He hit the jump, looking good. Both landing perfectly. Both running it perfectly. Let's see if he can get the double bounce once again as he did before. This time Racer Best absolutely matches him toe for toe, but the corners is, I tell you what, it's absolute, the cleanest lines come out from N2O on this. Now, here we go. Is he going to do the same again? It's almost like having the pit stop advantage in Formula 1 when you're stuck behind him. He's going to go high again. He's going to go high again. Is he going to pay off once again? Has he got the boost to back it up? Where's the Racer Best going to land? Oh, he lands on top of him. And he racks him. And that's going to be Racer Best coming through. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the danger of taking the high line. Because you know that the opposition will be coming down somewhere around you. And Racer Best should take this one, barring any unforced errors. And we will be tying up in the series. Ooh. Oh. Elbows out. I tell you what. This one is definitely a little more dirty than the other platforms. I'd love to see it. I think it's safe to say the Windows is delivering once again here. Or PC, whichever you prefer. Racer Best goes over the line. It is all square, one apiece. And, well, you can see the clear differences in race, you know, in terms of finding the jumps and hitting the boost. Racer Best absolutely has it on. And just like against Suktee, N2O absolutely runs the most perfect of lines on corners. He's like the apex king, as it were. But that's the risk, right? That's the risk. It almost happened in race 1 as well. They actually came down next to each other. This time, pancaked him on top of him. Absolutely legit. It's there in the game to be done. You can do it. And you know what? Got him the win. So now we are all square in the upper bracket. And remember, this is for a place in not only the grand final, but also for going into the bracket with a win. So you're going into that bracket with an extra race win. So here we go. Loser, of course, will go down to the lower bracket final as well. Look at them. Look at the elbows coming out from both of them. Bumper to bumper, side to side, door banging all the way. And N2O this time comes out on the lead. And now it's down to Racer Best to see what he can do. What's he got in the locker to try and chase down N2O. Magnificent racing. I love it. Brutal stuff. Rubbing his racing and all that. So N2O clean off the line. Racer Best getting, well, a taste of his own medicine perhaps from the start there. Taste of what he did against Al. Al said fair enough. It is what it is. That's racing. You know, either can get away with it. You never know which way the physics are going to go sometimes. Racer Best though, starting to gain, isn't he? Starting to gain an N2O here as we close out the first lap. Ooh, hit the parked car though, that's less than ideal. Yeah, that slowed him down a fair bit. You can see N2O definitely gaining ground on that one. And more importantly for N2O, well, he's just going to go below, isn't he? He can just run the cleanest line now. That's where Racer Best landed on top of N2O last time. And this will put N2O into the grand finals if he comes out on top here, which it looks like he will. He's a long way ahead. Doesn't look like it's going to cause any more problems. There's not too many more dangerous jumps within this. And we know how good he is on the corners. Perfectly done, lands perfect, takes the corner, comes across, double boost over the grass, gets himself the perfect bounce, and over the line he goes. Up the side, and then it's just a simple right-hander. Job done. Magnificent, magnificent. So, it will be N2O into the grand finals, and it will be Racer Best going down to the lower bracket final. And, well, that was all about the start, wasn't it? That was all about the start. Elbows out. I think we're seeing a more brutal affair on the Windows PC side of things. But you know what? It's all allowed. It's in the game. That's the kind of the point of head-to-head competition, right? It's not just a case of plowing through. So let's move on. Let's have a look at the brackets and see where we're going next, because that's the upper bracket decided. So now we have our first grand finalists. Now we move down to the lower bracket. So remember the other two drivers? Yes, you do. It is Pro Suktee and RPM Al. They will now be facing off against each other to stay who stays in the competition. It's not who goes through, who stays in the competition. And then obviously the winner will be going through to face Racer Best, who's dropped down. Racer Best says, my start strategy didn't work a third time in the row. Rip. Exactly. The muscles out tactic. B-win. Getting on to that one. So Al up against Suktee. And once again, we move over to the US Midwest with the tornadoes bristling away. I think I'd be pretty scared to drive, with the tornadoes just chilling out there, swirling around. But we do know this is a... Oh, that's cheeky. Suktee getting the boost jump over Al there. Al wasn't able to get onto it, which is giving them a bit of an advantage. But we do know, if you've been watching all day long, then you'll be well aware of the multiple areas where you can gain from that. I was just looking at it thinking it doesn't look like he's going to land safely there. And Al unfortunately wrecks. And Suktee will continue on. But and he's even going to drop down low as well and take the faster line. Which is where we saw Suktee on the Android gaining so much space on Elite Joe. So much time on him. There's also obviously the final section, the big jump towards the end of the lap. You can gain on. Obviously around here as well, but towards the end of the lap you've got the big section where you cut across the rock, it goes effectively, or as next to the rock as close as you dare, just here. And we've seen some people getting very close to that. Bumblebee especially was running really close to that on the iOS earlier on today. Unfortunately for him, no! Al, when he's not going for you, it's not going for you. Al wrecking on the jump. Because he hit the jump at the wrong angle. The physics engine doesn't like you. It's not with you. So, well, this first race is pretty much a done deal, isn't it? Yeah, not working out well for him in this one. Needs to keep his cool a little bit. I know he did say that he's still improving. He's only been RPM for 2 years. But yeah, better work to do. For N2O, by the way, I should say, the man in the final, this is his first time participating in one of these events. He's been playing for 2 years, but this is his first time actually competing, and he finds himself in the grand final already. Yeah. He said he loves the car, so not too surprising. But yeah, I mean, it was a a done deal for Suktee, right? That was that was about as clean as it goes. But Razorfest saying it. See, this is what I thought, right? That low route, that's the risky route. And I thought that. It's like, why is he taking this route when he's got such a lead? But he was still taking the risky route. I personally, Al's saying, please do. I thought when he did it, I was like, why is he doing this when he's already so far in the lead? It's an unnecessary risk, which is why we saw, obviously, it's really the route that you take when you're trying to gain ground. There's no reason to do it in a race when you're so far ahead. But anyway, it paid off for him. So Suktee 1-0 up as RPM Al's got a bit of work to do here to try and get in there. Make sure he doesn't rank is the main thing. A single win would be nice for him. And here we go. Suktee off the start line. Swinging that rear end of the car, just flicking it over. As they ride the barrier, both hit the jump. Ooh, a bit too far for Al, I would say there, if anything, on the jump. Maybe he just hit the boost at the wrong moment, but carried too much airtime. Landed a little hard on the corner. Suktee holding the lead, though, still. His teammate waiting in the lower bracket final. For Al, it's about a pride right now. Pride for a win, and then maybe do better after if you get one. Feeling the heat of the competition. Down low they go. Suktee still holding the lead. Who's going to go for the risky route? That's the question. As we come around tight corners over the solar panels. Still looking clean. That's a good run there. Suktee drops down just in front of him. Al's gaining ground. Now, are they going to cut it as fine as they can? No, both played it pretty safe, actually. Suktee, he lost a bit of control on the landing there, didn't he? Al's going to get the ride as well, so he's going to get the extra boost here. Should come down. Whoa! I think Suktee came down on top of him. I think that's what happened. They're both almost... I mean, I couldn't really tell because it just looked like he disintegrated, but it was definitely... I almost feel that he landed sort of went through Suktee there. I couldn't even make out what happened. I honestly couldn't even make out what happened. But Al, unfortunately, gets wrecked. It looked to me that Al was actually taking the better line. That's what it looked like. And then, yeah, then that happened. So, oh well. Unfortunately for Al, unless Suktee makes a mistake here, which I don't think he's going to. Suktee should be going over the line. There it is. There's the win. And Suktee will take it 2-0. So RPM Al, unfortunate for him, wrecked in both races. And I got to be honest, it was hard for me to tell. I thought he had it. But yeah. Not Al's day, unfortunately. Not Al's day. And Suktee will go through. And what that means is we now have an all-pro affair in the lower bracket final. I'm sure they were hoping to have this in the upper bracket final, but it's not the case. As I get a fly just drift in front of my face. It does mean that, yeah, we have Racerbest versus Suktee, the two leaders of Pro. So facing off against each other. So I guess they've got to put the money where the mouth is. Racerbest claiming he is legit the #1 driver. And now he's got to see if it's true. Let's see. Here's the brackets. Just a confirmation. Lower bracket final. N2O, a.k.a. B-Win from Peru. Sat ready and waiting to see who is going to be there. Racerbest. Suktee's going to get demoted if he beats me. There we go. Well, they're both going to be joining the game. Yeah, I mean, the question is, right, is it going to be the rematch? Are we going to get back to the rematch? Are we going to get Racerbest up against B-Win again? Or are we going to get Suktee up against N2O again? Like both of them have been beaten. Both pros have been swept aside by B-Win, a.k.a. H2O, or N2O, so he's not water, he's nitro. But here we go. Off the line. Ah, I was about to say, are they going to be clean off the line? I was just thinking, are they going to ram each other? Racer Best has been ramming and muscling each other at the start. But of course, as you can see, we are in San Francisco. Apologies. The city by the bay, and it is the bay we're going to be heading down towards now. And Suktee will hold it down. And in towards the dockyards. Both hitting the spins, pretty much identical. Racer Best staying just behind him. Got to be careful he doesn't get caught underneath. Both hit the spin. This is where we've seen so many people wrecked throughout the day. Alex, Jagermeister, Suktee. Oh, and there we go. Suktee goes down. And honestly, the triple jumps has caught so many people out. Be it the Golden Gate, the triple jumps, or just this section here as you go underneath. We've seen so many people go out on this track. It's another one of those really risky ones. One of the most, safe to say, most dangerous sections in any of the tracks we run in this tournament today. And that means, well, barring any risky plays, I expect Racer Best to avoid. We could be seeing him picking up the first here in this best of three. Didn't really need to go for the spin there, I've got to be honest, but maybe he wants to get as much to get the shockwave, I guess, for this point here. I guess that's why he went for it. Because if you look, Svetski's way off the shockwave. Yeah, I guess that was what it was. Into the triples, repositions his car, and that's exactly what he wanted to do the first time around. Wasn't the case though. Racer Best will go over the line, and he will be 1-0 up in the series in the battle between the two pro drivers. Solid driving overall. Racer Best looking to get himself a rematch from that upper bracket on N2O. And I got to be honest, it was a very tight upper bracket final. So that's where I expected to go. We'll see, though, as anything can absolutely happen. We've already seen Suktee coming back on this map. We've seen Alex coming back on this map. So we know that it's absolutely possible on the San Francisco. In fact, yeah, both of the platforms, the person that lost the first race has ended up coming back to win. So we'll see whether that's going to be the case here. Or whether the triple jumps will claim another victim. As we wait for the racers to get themselves ready. If you've just joined us, by the way, you've missed an incredible day's of action. We've been on for the last 3 hours now, just over 3 hours now, covering all the tournaments on iOS. Some magnificent driving on the Android. Some absolute immaculate driving, and here on the PC, some brutal driving overall. Has been, I would say, very physical on the PC side of things. Suktee is the man who took the lead from the start, though, as he did in the first race. Let's see if he can hold it. As Racer Beast now goes off on the charge. Suktee the ground running. This is where the driver's been caught. Ooh, that was a mistake. He almost caught on the side there. Gains a bit of ground. Both get the shockwave boost into the triples. I was just looking where Suktee was. I had a feeling that Best was about to land on him. Gets himself a cheeky 360 in there. Like it, Racer Best. Like it. Has gained himself quite a bit of ground in the corkscrew, hasn't he? That's got him right back on him. Looking for the quick 2-0, I think. See if he can get it all done in this one race. As Suktee will be feeling him breathing down his exhaust pipe fumes. Goes through the spin. We've seen people getting wiped out there. That's why Alex managed to get himself the lead last time out in the spin. Wrecked the opposition. A little wide from Racer Best there, though, on the corner. Spins in, both of them, 720s. Comes on the next jump, doesn't go for the spin, may well just get ahead. Where's he going to come down on top of? Not on top of him, that's for sure. Racer Best manages to get the lead over Suktee. Where's Suktee going to be? Is he going to come down on top of him? No. goes through the corkscrew, gets himself the jump, goes for the spin, just tries to risk it. That's very tricky through this section, gets himself into the spin. You love to see it, absolutely nails it dead on. And Racer Beast should have this one in the bag in 2. And he goes over the line. And he will take it. A magnificent overtake in what was a very, very risky section. We've seen so many cars, so many drivers wipe out on that exact section, doing that exact same thing. But it paid off. It absolutely paid off. Woo! And now we have our grand finals. It's gone so bad. My camera's lost. It's gone blurry. I got that excited. My camera's gone blurry. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, camera. Keep up with me. No, it's lost it. It's lost it. Boom. There we go. Bring it back. In we go. It's my camera's lost completely. It's completely lost itself. But anyway, let's have a look at the brackets. There we go. It's back in action. I got that excited and my camera couldn't keep up. So here we go. It's a rematch, isn't it? A rematch of the upper bracket finals. N2O, who came back to take it 2-1 over Racer Best in that upper bracket final. Racer Best finds himself here after taking down his teammate Suktee 2-0. The car preferred the water side a bit more. Yeah, Will, aka Suktee. But he goes down 3rd place in the tournament. And now we have ourselves a grand final. So just to reiterate what's going to happen in the grand final here, N2O will be coming into this with a 1 race advantage. So he obviously, because he's come through the upper bracket, that's the advantage they gain. And we will be starting things off on Osaka once again. So here we go. A very tricky first track. Lots of areas where you can make mistakes and absolutely may be able to make mistakes. A clean start. No elbow rubbing at the start. No door banging, as it were. And both actually make it through the garage cleanly, which is what you like to see. We saw Alex unfortunately get wiped out there. That's a big jump. Ooh, I thought he was going to come down on top of N2O there. Managed to get the boosted sprint. I think that's what he was looking for as well. Both hit the shockwave, both come down hard on the ground. And this, I feel, is going to be a very tight final, the smallest of margins. We've seen this corner causing so many problems. Racer Best manages to slam into the side of N2O. Doesn't manage to unsettle the car though. N2O, we know he's got the cleanest of lines as he goes through those corners. And he manages to run it here. N2O actually goes a little tighter than I thought there. Doesn't manage to hit the boost, but doesn't matter. Works out, pays off, gains the ground, gains the mileage. That's what he's looking towards. Spin after spin after spin for Racer Best there. Just about hitting every spin he could, but it is N2O, aka B-Wine from Peru, that will be holding out. The first time, he says, in a real competition like this, only been racing for 2 years. Absolutely delivering here in his first tournament. So far, has been impeccable. Came back from losing the first race against Racer Best in their best of 3 in the upper bracket, and has looked fantastic ever since. So here we go on the corner once again, slides it round, and as you would expect, both of these drivers absolutely nailing it. Racer Best trying to get his elbows out, doesn't pay off for him. You can see what he wanted to do there. He wanted to get the slam into the side of N2O, didn't work out for him. N2O holds the lead, he comes out on top. And this time it looks like N2O should be able to wrap this one up. There's a couple of jumps to go as they spin on through. Racer Best is going for the spins. N2O is preferring to play it safe. Is he going to have enough boost to keep N2O at bay? Yes, he will. And he'll go over the line. A tight, 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 tight race. Woo! I think we have a real final on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen. That was... I mean, that's what I like to see, like close contact racing like that, all the way. Like they were giving it all there. Within the lines of clean racing, as close as they could run it, I think it's safe to say. There was a couple of moments you could definitely see there, but spin didn't quite pay off for Racer Best there. But I would say, if I'm thinking back to previous finals of, say, Dark Hyper on the Android, that was where Suktee was running a much cleaner corner. But the problem is N2O doesn't run that corner wide. He runs it absolutely perfect. So it has been real tight so far. So race 2 underway. Currently a lead for N2O, but he will be trailing this time around off the start. Left side advantage, it seems, on this track, but that's why we run it twice, right? So you both switch inside, so no major advantage for either driver. You both have the same situational positioning at the start of the race. So this final race on Osaka, we'll be moving over to Shanghai after this one. And then over to Cairo if we need it for the final race. 2 races on the same track but twice, and of course the 1-0 gifted lead that N2O got from coming from the winner bracket finals. Racer best though, let's see what he can do from the front. Last time out N2O had to catch him was on Rome, and it worked out for him well. This time out he's definitely gaining ground on the corner once again. It's something that he does. He takes a fine line and he's right on the tailpipe once again. Actually clipped him there, I think, which is what knocked him back a little bit. The fact is, you bump into a car in front, you will slow down a little bit, which is exactly what's happened. But yeah, he's almost the straight line. Oh, I think he clipped the inside of the barrier there, which is just slowed him down a little. N2O. Okay, into the corner. Oh, it's actually a little wide from N2O this time. Racer Best had a slightly better line there. Smooth as you like through the S's, round the final curves. Oh, he tries to go for the boost. Has he got through? I think he has. Has he been enough? He's going to come through from the left-hand side. N2O's looking like he may well have just pipped him on the post there. Going to come round. Now will the spins pay off? They're both going to be spinning. You can see behind. It looks like Racer Best has fallen back though. And it will be N2O that will come through in Osaka and take himself another victory. Magnificent finishing once again from N2O. The Peruvian is absolutely delivering, isn't he? Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. So that takes it to 3-0. And that means that now we move over to Shanghai. It is championship points for N2O to take it on the PC. Incredible. My dog's getting excited. See, it's that exciting. My dog's trying to make noise. Wow. What a finish. What a finish. Ladies and gentlemen. What's your predictions in chat, guys? Where are you seeing this? Is he going to take it in 4? Is B-Wine going to take it in 4? Or is he... Tristan, really? B-Wine cheater? Where in the world do you see cheating? That was magnificent racing. Do not belittle such a brilliant, brilliant performance by saying that. Just don't. Just do not. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. These guys are giving it all on the track, and I love to see it. Here we go on Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen. N2O up against Racer Best. Racer Best getting his elbows out at the start. Straight in there. A lot of you guys saying it's going to be a 4-0 for N2O. And now this is a track that absolutely defines cornering. It is a big, wide open track, but if you corner better than the next man, you will overtake him. There's no doubt about it. Brilliant stuff from both of these races. But for Racer Best, it is all about picking up win after win after win after win. He needs to take 4 wins back to back. Can he do that? I'm not so sure. N2O is so good on the corners. Where did that just send Racer Best? They both hit that car. Unfortunately, N2O missed the jump. So that's going to slow him down a fair bit here. Racer Best did get launched, but I thought he was going to get launched into the atmosphere the way he went. Racing it nicely. But as I say, this is a tricky track. If you lose the lead, it's very hard to come back from. Very, very hard. And that's what N2O is finding out here. It's going to be down to the opposition wrecking out. Tries to take the high round, didn't work out. Didn't really gain anything on him. Hoping that maybe Racer Best is going to clip something, but it doesn't look like it's the case. Look at just how tight he runs those corners, though. I know I'm probably like beating a drum right now, but N2O is so good at cornering. It's making me quite envious. I'm quite jealous of his abilities to really hit the apexes absolutely as smooth as you like. Look at it. Look, this is a track where you generally just don't catch up, but he just took that corner so well that he absolutely gains ground, and he does again. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough because the track is pretty open, so he just doesn't have enough time. But even the ground that he lost, he gained so much there, and that now sets it for, I gotta feel that if Racer Best doesn't get the lead from the start, and all credit to him, he took it to 3-1. If he doesn't get the lead from the start, I don't see him catching N2O. I really do not. I feel like that may well be it. I think, but we'll see. We'll see. It's anything can happen. If we do happen to keep going, we end up going to Cairo after this track. If Racer Best can pick up another one, then we will have a finals on our hand here, ladies and gentlemen. We had a clean sweep across the iOS. Dark Hyper absolutely delivering. Apologies for spoilers if you wanted to watch the VOD back. Another spoiler's about to come. For Android, we had some fantastic racing over there. Really epic finals. Sorry, Dark Hyper was on Android. Really epic finals on there. For Future Flash, he absolutely dominated over on iOS as well. It's just been amazing races all the way through. It is a best of 7. So we're sitting at 3-1. And now as we go into the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 Challenge Finals, is this the final race? It's all about the start, and Beast gets himself his elbows out. The door banging comes through, and he gets the tightest of leads. The question is, will it be enough? Because N2O takes these corners very well. He goes low. Beast goes high. Racer Best's going to come down. They're neck and neck, and N2O is just slightly edged ahead. Racer Best is right alongside him. They're side by side once again. The shockwave boost isn't going to be enough. He's going to run out of boost. Goes for the 360. Tries to catch him. Doesn't pay off. N2O catches him. And Racer Beast wipes out. And that may be the final blow for Racer Best as N2O looks to close out and become the champion of the PC. That may well be it. They both went for the same move. They both went to wipe each other out. And it's Racer Best that comes off worse. And in the end, that may well be what's just undone him. N2O has been flawless in the corners. Let's have a look at him. Let's see that final lap, because I don't see Racer Best catching him whatsoever. It's all about N2O. The Peruvian, in his first ever major tournament, is looking to come through. We see him as N2O. You guys know him as B-Wine. He's raced under, it doesn't matter what it is, his name, but he has been magnificent. The young Peruvian, his first time participating in the events, could well see him becoming the champion. He did say he hopes it's an enjoyable experience. Well, I think he's going to find it pretty enjoyable, don't you? I think he's going to be finding it very enjoyable, because it is going to be N2O that will be your champion here for the Asphalt 9 Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4 finals. And a well-deserved champion, if ever I saw one. Absolutely delivering as he goes across the line and takes the series 4-1 in what has been a magnificent run from the Peruvian N2O. Brilliant, brilliant performance. And I think it's only fair to say, a credit to all the champions from the day. We've had some absolute top driving, some sublime driving throughout the day. I've thoroughly enjoyed the competition today. I didn't know what to expect, and then I saw the lineup, because sometimes, obviously, with head-to-head racing, you can have straight up dominating races. Is just sometimes you can have it absolutely where one driver will get ahead, and it can be a whitewash. But today we've had just brilliant stuff. Obviously, from The start of the day, Future Flash obviously delivering a brilliant performance on iOS. Then we went across to obviously Dark Hyper, who dominated on the Android. Some brilliant racing from him. And now at the end to see N2O, aka B-Wine, picking up another brilliant performance there. Overall, what a magnificent day, ladies and gentlemen. What a magnificent day. I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I have talking about it here for Asphalt 9. Thank you very much for you guys, Asphalt 9, for obviously hosting the competition, because obviously without them, we wouldn't have the game. Thank you very much to Lamborghini Countach, or Lamborghini themselves, for bringing us the Countach, reviving it from my youth, to bring us the LPI 800-4 Challenge Finals here. It has been brilliant. Thanks for you guys in chat for joining me throughout the day. I know you guys have been cheering on your favorite drivers throughout. And thanks for everyone behind the scenes production. It has been a very smooth run tournament. I love to see it. Until next time, I wish you all the best.